Welcome back, everybody, to Supreme Salon, Episode 2. I am Stefanie Richards, your host. I'm here with my co-host, Jay Olsen. And you brought a friend with you today.
I did. I brought a friend. I brought a very dear friend.
Yes.
A special man in my life.
For Valentine's Day.
Yeah, for the Valentine's Day episode, I brought Ben Koh.
Ben Koh, welcome.
Thank you.
How you doing?
Fantastic.
So we talked a little bit about Ben Koh on the last episode. I don't know if you watched it.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
of course.
assuming you did. Mm-hmm. So we're super excited to have you here and pick your brain and get to know Ben Koh.
I mean, I was excited about this episode, and if given the chance to where I could select one guest immediately, it would have been Ben. I just think, and I've said this a million times, like, people need to know Ben. People need to be around Ben because he uplifts everybody. I feel like he uplifts everybody around him, and he truly does. He's one of those people that makes everybody better in all sorts of ways. The only bad thing about Ben is that he's so majestic and such a combination of if MacGyver and Kung Fu had a baby.
Gotcha.
That it would be Ben Koh because he can build anything, he can fix anything.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think, although he does uplift people, he also enables people not to get their shit together sometimes.
Because he knows how to do it all.
Yeah, because it's there and it's in his locker at work.
And I'm traveling through the West solving problems using Kung Fu.
Yes.
Just like David
Gotcha.
Carradine,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Perfect.
Right.
Yes, he uplifts people through Kung Fu and haircuts.
Which I really don't know Kung Fu.
I don't believe
I just look
that.
like I do.
So how did you guys meet?
Oh, boy.
Let's go back in
This is a
time.
good one.
Well, it's all a little fuzzy back then, right? I think that the initial meeting would have been at a nightclub. The first time I actually
Clubbing,
truly...
I knew it.
Well, the first time I truly
were working.
remember meeting Jay was at a nightclub that no longer exists anymore. It's called Dirty Pretty. And I was told to keep an eye out for someone that at the time resembled Joe Millionaire. That was the physical description I was given. It's like, oh, I'm sure you'll see Jay out. I'm not sure if I know him. Well, you will. He looks like that guy Joe Millionaire. If anyone is unfamiliar, this was a reality show.
Yeah,
similar to
I
like
do
The
remember that.
Bachelor.
One of the first reality shows,
It
and
was the first like kind of mass like 1 on 25 dating kind of scenario.
Oh.
Yeah.
unlike Joe Millionaire, I had his curly dark hair. I had a dyed black soul patch.
Perfect.
Can be trusted.
Yeah.
And the only thing different about me was that I didn't have any money whatsoever.
Well,
Gotcha.
actually, he didn't either. That was the whole thing.
He was a fake millionaire.
Yeah, he
came out
that
afterwards.
That actually was me
To the
too.
girls. Just kidding. He's not a millionaire. Do you still love him, right?
I don't remember. I think,
We don't know.
yeah, I think that was maybe the second series that
Good
they
show.
made. Yes, but either way, yes, that was the instructions was to keep an eye out for a guy that looks like what was his name? Evan? No, what was the dude's name?
Evan Meekum,
No, that's not.
You made that up.
Yeah, he made that up.
politician, I think.
Yes. Either way, and that's when I truly remember actually meeting Jay. But we both worked in the industry, and we knew other people that worked in the industry. I was DJing at clubs. Jay was working different thing. I don't know. Were you ever
We don't know
behind
what
the
he
bar?
did.
I had a variety.
I
of-
wasn't really sure. I think you were actually standing behind the bar at Dirty Pretty.
Yeah, it was.
That's when I saw you.
Yeah,
Like
I held a
bartending
variety.
or
No.
chilling?
I was doing promotions. This hurts to say. I was. I don't know if I'm prouder that I was doing promotional stuff or that I was actually a doorman for a while. I wasn't good at either one, and typically ended up just partying anyways. But
Gotcha.
it worked out, and in that I found Ben Koh.
Gotcha.
So at the time we were both already in the industry. I was sort of like moonlighting, doing this DJ thing that I've always kind of done. And but at that point, I mean, I don't know where I was at Sassoon, but I was probably there at least 6, 7, 8 years at that point.
Wow.
And I don't think you had opened the salon next door. So eventually, Jay and I, it's sort of like this like helix, like that our paths just keep like intersecting over a timeline. And I think the next time I truly remember, it's like this is that pivotal time. It's, oh, I saw him here. was being out back of Sassoon, and he's like standing in the parking lot, and I was like, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh yeah, that empty spot right there, that's going to be my salon. So for a while, he had a shop we were right next door to each other. He used to come in on Thursdays. I'd cut his hair like on Thursdays. Yeah.
Cool.
And
we had shared the same break room space, which was basically like a small area used for playing dominoes and cockfighting in the back of our salon.
I think drunk people after the clubs would urinate back there. That's one thing would happen. People would stick their chewing gum on this sign that was back there. There was a bunch of broken patio furniture, like probably
fancy.
Yeah.
Putting on the Ritz.
It was there was classy shit there.
Oh yeah, and because of the geographic location of the building and the weather pattern that existed in that parking lot, all trash and leaves would blow into this little alcove and just stay there. So it'd always be covered in trash and leaves and just stuff, cigarette butts, and so that's where
we had lunch.
Living the dream.
We'd hang out, but it was in that place that I remember having these conversations about, the industry. And I always say this. I say this to clients. I've said it to Jay. I think about myself. I'm still the same person who I'm still cutting hair in my front yard before I knew what I was doing. Not that I'm saying that I really know what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
I always feel like there's always that next step.
Right.
However, I always view myself as that person who's just trying to learn how to do it a little bit better. And, but then we're like, okay, we don't know what we're doing. We're like the new guys in the industry. And then all of a sudden you turn around one day and you're like, wait, we're the old guys.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think that's great, though.
Mm-hmm.
I actually am so grateful that, we came through when we did, a pre-Instagram, pre-social media, pre-all of this stuff. You couldn't just go, you had to either buy like magazines or actually go to like a physical, hair show or something like that.
VHS.
All my cutting instruction was done using VHS tapes and like photocopied paper, and we had a hand copy, which there's value in that, by the way.
Head sheets, remember those?
Yeah. Hand-drawn head sheets. I mean, that's it. There's no replacement for some of that kind of, what we call now old school approach, but it's just, it's the way. So anyway, and then now here we are, when I knew it was time for me to kind of move on from Sassoon. Sassoon was just such an incredible experience. I would not be the human being I am now, or definitely the hair cutter, without my years there and everyone that I worked with, my mentors. It was two guys at the shop, David and Tien, Christopher, who now works at Costa Mesa. David's still at Scottsdale, and those are my mentors. They taught me, I don't want to say like everything I know, but they gave me that foundation that I was able to build off of. But it wasn't just them; it was everyone I got to come across and work with, from people that most I don't want to say Instagram savvy people would know, but to like Mark Hayes, Tracy Sakositz, anyone who was with that company. But at a certain point, I just felt like I wanted to make it really simple again. I just wanted to focus on the craft, and it was actually, I was, the story, but I was out hiking in the Himalayas. I was in Nepal, and one day I was just standing there.
Helping people. He was walking and helping people.
No, I was not doing that. I was on vacation. I was on a very expensive vacation. But we were on this hiking trip, and I was just standing out there, and just in a moment, it just came to me. I was like, it's time to change things. And I already knew standing there, where I needed to go. So as soon as I got back into as soon as I had phone service, I texted Jay, and I told him when I would be landing.
Time.
No, actually, I didn't say anything. I just asked him if he'd be around, because I had, jet lag is horrific after a trip like that. So I had 4 days to kind of get my life back together. And I figured, I asked him if he had time for dinner at some point, and it was over Wings at, what was that place called?
The Vig.
The Vig, right.
So romantic.
Yeah.
This is our anniversary. That's why it's here.
Perfect. Congratulations.
So that's how it all came to be. And then,
Here we are. Mm-hmm. And I hear you have some top secret questions.
I do. I have a lot of questions.
I wasn't even allowed to look at these questions.
No, I don't. I haven't even looked at them. I wrote them down. I haven't looked at them. It was. One of the cool things about that meeting when Ben called me and was interested in, I had so much respect for him when he called, because I go through life and you're like, for me personally, I always have this question: Am I doing this right? Like, what direction am I going? Like, I do a lot by instinct and just what feels right in the directions that I go professionally and personally.
Yeah.
And so that's what I had been doing, and it was just really for me it was kind of like an awesome crew that I had, very small, but they believed in what I was doing, but nothing against them obviously, but when Ben called me and said that he believed in what I was doing and the timing was right, that really solidified me and gave me a lot of confidence as far as like the way that I like to do things and the way that I think things should be done in respect to the craft and the progress of the craft and the future. So that was him and Karen Fua came over too, that was doing a lot of his color at Sassoon. So that was in an area of time where the independent education started and kind of breaking away from your beginnings, I guess, with all due respect to what you get from that.
Yeah.
It was super gnarly to come into my own with somebody like Ben, that said that he believed in me, and that was when I really thought, that was a huge jumping point for me as far as like confidence and moving forward. So that was and I can't thank you enough for that, man. So
no, yeah, nothing's necessary. I mean, yeah, of course, this is fantastic. Of course, definitely.
And it's been a good time ever since. We kept running into each other. It just kept happening.
Yeah.
We'll definitely run into each other, I'm sure, in the afterlife, perhaps.
Right.
But
on the next plane.
Yeah. Tomorrow at work.
Yeah.
Strangest thing.
I mean, but yeah, it really was this sort of like, intertwined paths crossing, inexplicable, unavoidable sort of thing. Like, remember that time, where were we going? Was it IBS or something in New York? We were both going out independently. I think I was teaching actually at one of the in Salon academies for Sassoon. And you were, I was going to
IBS,
IBS, right. Yeah. And we're both, this is like kind of when Instagram was, I don't want to say first starting, but when people were really kind of gravitating, it was gaining traction. So I'm looking at Instagram and I post some picture of like the airplane because it was just the sun was coming up. It was just a nice little image.
Yeah.
And in the comments, Jay texted me or wrote a comment. He's like, "Where you headed to?" By the way, I'm in my seat and it's like, oh, there's a comment. So I'm like reading it, like, where are you headed to? And I'm starting to type like whatever and where I'm going. And, people are boarding. So people are like bumping you as they're walking by. So I'm like looking up. Someone just like bumped me and I like look up and he's standing in the aisle. And I was like,
you're like, how'd you find me so fast?
It was like, look back or whatever I wrote, like send, and he was like 5 rows ahead of me.
Yeah.
Then did you guys get to sit together?
No, it was a full flight. I mean, we're going to New York City.
I don't like that.
That we didn't get to sit together?
Yeah, I don't like assigned seats, and I don't like it when people don't move so you can sit by your person.
Well, and you could not see the joy that came over both of our faces when, I would think that they would get right out of their seat.
You press the button, and you're like, guess what? I didn't even know he was on the plane.
You're never going to believe this.
Move.
I need to see,
You got to move.
Is it like that ending scene in so many like romantic films where like someone is leaving someone, but someone like runs on the plane? It's like, wait, you can't go.
It happened in
and then
Friends.
There's a proposal and everyone's like clapping. And, Okay, it wasn't like that.
It
was more
Friends,
like, there you are.
Times,
Okay, all right.
I was a prostitute, and Ben popped out of the top of a limousine.
Right.
And I was sitting I was hanging out of my fire escape.
Okay.
And Ben held up flowers, and it was like, kind of like that.
Boombox in the rain, right?
Yeah.
Peter Gabriel playing. Yeah. Okay.
So, like you had talked about mentors and your history with Sassoon, and you had an analogy for me the other day. We were hanging out in the back room where a lot of like magical shit happens in our back room, but you had an analogy about guitar playing with and you tied it into hairdressing. And let me just, because I actually sometimes Ben will be talking in the back and I'll start taking notes. And I know it's fucking weird, but like
you're recording him.
Yeah. I'm like, look, can you say that again in here, please?
Voice to text, please. Siri, voice to text.
So yeah, the guitar analogy as far as like your mentors and moving through the industry and like you remember that conversation, right? I gotta share that with everybody because it was really cool. Yeah.
Well, it's the analogy of when you're, and I think to me the example was playing the guitar, but it could be really playing any instrument. So when you say, I want to learn how to play, well, Aubrey, like our friend Aubrey, who I'm about to cut her hair, she's actually a client of ours at the salon, so we already know her. But Aubrey informed me today that she would like to learn how to play the saxophone. And that currently does not know how to play the saxophone, nor does she own a saxophone. So if anyone is listening and would like to donate a saxophone
and
to
the read, please.
Teach Aubrey how to play the saxophone fund, you can get in touch with Jay or I or Stefanie via Instagram, and we'll take your saxophone off your hands and pass it right along to Aubrey. When you first learn how to play, unless you're some kind of magically gifted virtuoso, you learn initially by mimicking things. So if it is like, say, the guitar or drums, I think the first song that most people, especially of you're younger than us, but like our age would be, I'm pretty sure, is something like Smells Like Teen Spirit, right?
I was gonna say Nirvana.
Okay.
Nirvana.
Right, or even on the drums, that's like a go-to song. You can just kind of learn how to play your instrument, guitar, drums, whatever it might be, by mimicking what someone else has already played. I.e., you're playing covers, right?
Right. My first song I learned was a Weezer song.
Okay, there you go. Right.
Offspring.
Also, Weezer, great. Also a good jumping off point. That's okay. That's besides the point. What it is that like when you're learning how to do anything, sometimes you learn through like mimicry, and that's the practice. And the analogy I was making is that's sort of how, at least for me, that's how I looked at hair, and I always use this phrase always came to mind. I did not come up with this phrase, but it's the idea of standing on the shoulders of giants, right?
Right.
And, being with Sassoon, and this was the magic of being with that company, was I was exposed to people who were incredible at the craft of haircutting. And, my friend, my best buddy Dana and we both apprenticed with.
I love Dana.
Oh, you know Dana? Okay, great. Yeah, okay, so everyone knows Dana. We all know Dana.
Got to get Dana in
Hi,
here.
Dana.
Hi, Dana.
So we would watch these VHS tapes of haircutting, and we would always watch for these long fingers with this black Rolex Submariner, and that's when we knew when Mark Hayes was cutting a haircut. And we would just watch, and we would talk about it. And my whole thing was just like, do like him, like do just you're like everything, like hold the hair the same way, do this the same way, like with that deliberate motion. This is like post cosmetology school, because in cosmetology school, everything you want to do is you want to learn how to flip those shears back and forth as many times as possible.
Right.
But when it went to that point in my apprenticeship, it was like, find that, try and mimic that, and then build on that. So like that's like the idea, and then also you're building shapes from these videos. This is you covering a song.
Yeah.
Right.
You're watching like Rivers Cuomo play the guitar, or whoever, and you're trying to like do it the same way.
Right.
Like duplicate the song and duplicate even the action of like what is happening.
Right.
And that's how it begins. Unless, again, you are some magically gifted, prodigy. Like Mozart apparently like sat at a harpsichord at age 7 and just like banged out a symphony. And he was like, how was that,
Yes.
And I loved that. I loved that when we started talking about that there, because we led into like when you kind of break free from that and almost like
and
in
you
a
start
sense
writing
like
your own music.
Yeah, playing your own music, and that's when shit really starts happening. Like that's when it gets super cool. Is you're creating with the confidence and the skill, and the just the repetition, where you can kind of start to bend that a little bit and not do that, and that's when shit really starts popping off, I believe.
I use another analogy when I've explained this to anyone. Usually it's someone I'm like teaching, right? It's usually a long-term teaching process, like an apprenticeship. Another analogy I like to use is one of like speaking a foreign language. Right? And the idea of, okay, well, I want to say something in a foreign language, so I need to get these words. Okay, so I is this, am is this, going is this, to whatever, and you have to do it word by word.
Right.
But at a certain point, you're not doing that word by word translation anymore.
It's all up here.
You're speaking with what is now known as fluency.
Right.
Right? So you are fluent at that language, so your thought actually comes out in that language.
Right.
You don't have to like do this like translation process. It just goes.
Right.
And that, I think, is what happens. That's like writing your own music. That's the whole, I actually use the word fluency. When you become fluent, And then you just like look at a head shape and you're like, you don't have to even think. It's like, well, I have to pull this to here and I'm going to measure it. And you just kind of,
you start going.
You can feel. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So.
I love that.
When would you say was like, when was that turning point for you? Did you
I have no idea.
Yeah?
I have no idea. But just at one point. And that's when, it's like, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And then one day you realize that something has happened.
Yeah.
But it was so maybe gradual. So
Right.
I don't think there was a pivotal moment.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, there was never a moment where it's like, I got it.
Yeah.
You're just
No.
like, one day you're like, oh shit, I can cut some hair.
Right.
Like,
Well, I mean, that's always the downfall, though, is when you're like, I got this shit.
Right. And that's so going back to kind of what we started with
I
is
go
like,
back and forth all day.
well, the bar is always that much higher,
Yeah.
So, it's been said so many times, but I feel like, one of our friends, Clinton Norris or Lucas Donnie, they say it's like the goal is to be better than you are today.
Right.
That's it. It's just like one click,
Yeah.
So it's not like I have some goal.
Right.
It's just one more like notch, like whatever.
Yeah.
Just turn the dial up just a little bit more tomorrow.
Right.
And that's it. And, maybe you'll get there by the end of the day, that one of those things. How many times do you have like a client or anything, and you're like, oh, I hope this goes, the way I want it to. Whether, I know that's almost more pertinent with color when I hear, my colleagues, our friends at the salon talk about color.
Right.
And they're talking about someone coming in at the end of the day. I don't really think about my day in that way, but, sometimes I know I know someone's coming in later and we've already discussed something. I'm like, oh, I wonder how much their hair's grown for this one thing we wanted to do. Or
Right.
so on and so forth. So, yeah, but, it's all experiment.
Yeah.
I never know how it's going to come out.
Yeah.
Truly.
Right.
You have to just build it and see.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
always say. You got to build it and see.
Yeah. I mean, that's huge for younger artists, though, is because I truly did struggle, I would say, my first 5 years of hairdressing, maybe even longer. It wasn't even until like I would say like there wasn't like a turning point, but I would say like even year 10 was where I started to feel like, you talk about like knowing what's going to happen and knowing what you're going to produce. That's where I felt confident in having a pretty good idea after, this 10,000 hours or 10,000 times doing it, that I actually had a pretty good idea of what I was going to be able to produce. And that, hairdressing can be so stressful and so hard in cutting and color. Because you want to know what you're going to be able to produce, and you obviously don't want to like over-promise and under-deliver.
Right.
So, for younger artists, I think it's important to hear that takes time to find your fluency for sure, and it really does. Hairdressing for me got so much cooler and so much more fun, and I looked forward to it so much more, and that's when I really started pushing, was when I got through that area of time where like I was unsure every fucking time as to what I was gonna get. Like it was hoping rather than like educated guessing,
right?
And when that starts to turn, I think that's when you just really got to fight through that part. I don't know if you dealt with a struggle in that regard as far as like...
I mean, absolutely. And there's also the idea of not taking risks, playing it safe in the beginning. So let's go back to the music analogy. What instrument are you talking about, by the way, for you? Guitar?
Guitar.
Okay. So, you jump in with like Weezer, Nirvana.
Yeah.
You don't jump in with Zeppelin.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. Like, or if you do, you're probably going to quit.
Right.
Right? Because you're overreaching. So, it's the idea of like playing inside of like that. And then every day the box just gets a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Right. And a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. So it wasn't so much that I felt like, I just had no clue how it was going to turn out, but I knew like where my boundary was, and like I was just going to go like a little bit further. That idea of under promise, over deliver.
Yeah.
Right. Always making sure.
Yeah.
And not out of fear, but more out of the idea of okay, well, this is where that space is right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got something that I think hairdressers need to hear from my friend here.
Okay.
Ben seemingly has it all figured out. Like he is what I would consider the Zen Ben.
Okay.
Like, I know you have told me though that it wasn't always that way.
Oh no, it still is not that way.
It's always working on being that way.
Yeah.
I think in an industry that I would say has a lot of chaos in it. Like I feel like hairdressing has a lot of chaos.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yes.
Ben is on the dot 40 hours a week. He is on the dot,
you were telling
one
me about
lunch
this.
break per day.
Yeah.
And it's what I see in that, and what I really try and mimic in that is just like a successful day. You know what I mean? Like not getting in over my head, although that does tend to happen. But I think hairdressers can really take a lot from the organizational things that Ben does. And like, what would your advice be, just as far as like taking that lunch break and not overdoing it, and keeping an eye on, and not accepting the 16 more clients that are trying to get in.
Right.
So, you have to preface that with the notion or the contingency of having autonomy, right? You have to be kind of in control. And I want to say unfortunately, because it's fortunate and unfortunate, it's part of like that building process. But if you're in a commission-based salon, that is much harder to achieve. Now, I'm not saying everyone should go out and be independent, because actually, in my opinion, what made me into who I am was the fact that I worked for a commission-based salon for over a decade.
Yeah.
To be inside of a structure that wasn't my own. Now, if you're a disciplined person, then sure, you can probably do that, but there are innately not that many people who are that disciplined to almost like push yourself to that point of discomfort, because you're going to just back it down. So, Jay and I've been in the industry for, what are we talking about? Like 14, 15 years at this point. Jay, I know you're like closer to 20 now, right? So with the autonomy is, how I build out my day.
Yeah.
Right. And so Jay's right. So that this is the structure of my week, 40 hours, literally on the dot. Right. 9 to 5, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Thursday, I'm 11 to 6 or so. I also build in a 1 hour, 60 minutes lunch break, like in every day at actually lunchtime.
So it's at the same time every day?
Give or take, yeah.
Minus
It's
30.
close. 11, 12, no later than 1 usually. So
Gotcha.
like either 11 or 12. We'll just call it at that. And what that allows me to do is have that time just for, to reset.
Yeah.
And
put food in your body?
Right.
Who would have thought?
I also book out a minimum of an hour with each person. I would say it's about a 50-50 split. About half the time, maybe not half, maybe a third of the time, I'll book out an hour and a half.
Yeah.
That's so that I never feel rushed.
Yeah.
Right. So I can spend all the time that I need. If I finish early, that's fine. So I don't necessarily do a monetization calculation for my time. I do more an ROI calculation for like energy and like emotional state. Not just like, do I feel like good, but do I feel like, I produced quality work?
Right.
Do I feel fulfilled? Is everyone who's leaving like very happy? And it's that idea of like, stress reduction and right, all of that. So that's really to me the philosophy is so people will often ask like, how often is this question? It's like, oh, busy day today? It's always a busy day.
Right.
I book out like, however many weeks or a couple months in advance. So every day is fully booked, but fully booked for me is probably not fully booked for other people.
Right.
Because I control that. Another thing that I do, and you're aware of this, and I'm assuming that I am one of the very few people that do this, because when I tell people that this is this is a black and white day-to-day protocol that I exercise, is that I have a 10-minute grace period, not 11. 11 is actually, it might as well be 28.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? It's 10 minutes. And there have been colleagues in the salon who have seen me, and I always say that when I need to actually make this thing happen, it's face-to-face, because someone has walked in. even though I've been texting them already. Usually at like 10 minutes and like 30 seconds, I send that text out, and I just tell them, and unfortunately, like, we won't have time.
Yeah.
You know, the whole idea of like, oh, we don't have to blow dry it. Actually, I do. That's when I check it.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Half
Like,
the haircut happens on your dry hair, people.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, actually, you know what I say regarding that is when I'm cutting hair wet, I'm removing 90% of the hair. But when I'm cutting hair dry, I'm doing 90% of the haircut.
Yeah, I always try to tell clients that too. I'm like, even if we do the same haircut every time, like, there's things that happen when it's dry that can't happen first.
Right. Absolutely. So people will walk in, and I'll just say, I'm sorry, I can't do it. I mean, there's been 2 times in Bespoke, neither time were you there, where there has been a catastrophic meltdown situation where the receptionist actually had to leave the room. Like, everyone scattered out. And our main room, our lobby is huge. So everyone they were like watching from upstairs.
In safety.
They've got their binoculars.
But there's, you know, and the thing is, I'm not trying to be mean about it.
Right.
Obviously, I'm watching a certain amount of revenue walk out the door, but what I'm guaranteeing is the craft isn't compromised. That's what I'm doing. I'm guaranteeing that for myself, and that goes to that like emotional ROI, like that emotional payback at the end of the day, because that's going to be the one thing that derails everything.
Yeah, and I think we have to kind of, well, we first train ourselves, and then we train our clients, those ones that try to push you to come in on your day off or start their hair at 7 p.m. It's like, why do you want the worst version of me?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, and then not be able to give your best to tomorrow or your last client of the day,
right?
Or your family, or whoever,
my poor husband.
Yeah, I mean that all could be different for everybody, right? I mean, because you selected 10 minutes because it all has purpose. There's
at
intent.
least 50 minutes.
There's intent in the amount of time that you take your lunch. There's intent in the amount of time that you take with each client, and that's because anything more or less than that is when the craft is compromised in how you do things.
Right. Yeah. 10 minutes is essentially built in that I have a workaround. It's a quicker shampoo. It's I mean, it's pretty much that. Like honestly, because you know, so I don't have an assistant. I choose to not have an assistant. And I oftentimes say one of the reasons why is as soon as someone walks in that door, we're like, you know, talking about, even if it's a first time client, like I want to understand them as much as I can before like scissors touch their hair. So like when I'm shampooing them, that's the time where I that's built in for me to actually, I'm doing something. Yeah. You know, it's not just like, I don't want to hire an assistant. Right. Like that's time I'm spending with someone. And so that's important to me.
Yeah.
I got some more I'd like to talk about. Yeah. So a big part of your life is yoga. A big part of your life is you know, I know that you and your family have that hike every morning.
Well, it's not every morning. It's a couple of times a week. But yes, yeah. And the family, by the way, is me, my girlfriend, and our 2 dogs. Yeah. So
the family.
That's what I call my family.
Yeah. That's a family.
2 dogs.
That's a family. Absolutely. Yeah. And so the yoga has led into another hobby of yours, DJing.
Oh, that's come back. Yes. Yeah. This is like a return. This is actually the 4th time out of retirement, I think, in my life. And it starts off as something, you know, like DJing at raves in the 90s, and then whoop, that stopped, and then you know, electronic music started to migrate into more mainstream clubs, and then did that, and then that stopped. I moved out here, put DJing aside. Actually, Dana and I were out somewhere at one of these like I call them hipster dance parties, but like this was a thing like in 2005, right? You know, so and then we got back into it doing that, and then ended up in Scottsdale playing at Scottsdale clubs, and then shelved it, and then now we're here. Yeah. And yeah, we just did an event with Walter Productions, Walter Yoga, and they're a fantastic group of people. They're all pretty much artists. That's the best way to describe them. And yeah. So that's happening, or has happened, and we're going to do another one on March 22nd.
Yeah, that looked incredible. Yeah, that looked incredible. Let's see.
Sorry to sidetrack. I didn't know if there was a question there too.
No, I wanted to talk about it because it's just I feel like you have so many interesting things that you are involved in that you know it's just cool shit. All of it's cool shit. You know, so I wanted to bring that up as far as Oh, you know what I did want to bring up? Okay, so let's just switch gears here. Okay. So the St. Vincent de Paul thing, and this I want to talk about that a little bit, along with, you know, we just to kind of go along with the compromising of your day and the craft and what you provide with your guests. you go to St. Vincent de Paul and you do free haircuts, and for people in need and people that are homeless, basically.
Usually, yes.
Yeah.
Usually homeless. Yeah.
One of the coolest stories that I heard you tell, and I don't know if you remember, you definitely don't remember me listening. I don't know how you would do that. But I was listening to you, and it was pretty amazing, because this is one of my favorite stories about you. Is you were talking to a gentleman and you were cutting his hair, and this is a guest at the salon. It's a paying guest, and you were telling him about the St. Vincent de Paul thing, which we're going to lead into after this. But he said, "Oh, you're doing that? You're cutting hair for the homeless? Like that's you probably like blow through like 30 of those a day, right?" And you're like, "No."
Yeah, no.
And he's like, "Well, why wouldn't? I'm sure you just like real quick, like, and you're like, no." Mm-mm. And you said to him, "I cut everybody's hair to the best of my ability, and in the amount of time that it takes to give them the very best haircut, no matter who they are or what's going on. I'm not going to compromise what I'm doing because I'm not getting paid for it, or I'm trying to rush, or whatever."
I only know one way to do it.
Right.
That's kind of that's a simple way to put it. I only know one way to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, absolutely. That's the thing. So I'm not that productive down there. And a lot of the people who are coming down there are barbers, so they can like 20 minutes done, 15 minutes done. And I'm there, and like 3 people have gone through, my buddy, a friend of mine now a friend of mine who I met down there. He's a barber. His name is Soy, and he's a fantastic human being. And he'll go through at least 2 people in the amount of time I take with one person.
Yeah.
And it's not, part of it is that's his skill set, is he's just fast.
I'm pretty sure they punch you in the face if you don't do a haircut real quick in a barbershop.
Right. Yeah. And he's he's tenured the same as Jay and I, but in barbering. Right. So his skill set is very developed. Yes, he's very good.
Still precision.
Yes, he's very good.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like my speed is this. Mm-hmm. And so my speed is this anywhere it happens.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, maybe we can go down one day and...
Yeah, and actually, so I heard from Soy, talking about Soy again, I heard from Soy that as of right now, besides, there's a gentleman by the name of Ken who goes down with the Southwest Leadership Academy. It's a school, a trade high school in South Phoenix. He takes these students down there, and they will cut down there, and that's a fantastic thing that he does. Cool. Yeah, so they get to, and by the way, they're all like really good. Like it was actually, I have to admit that at a certain point, the first time they showed up, and then one of them started cutting hair, I'm like, okay, all right, this kid is really good.
And he's like
really good.
Some of those kids are like 14, like 14, 15
young.
Years old.
Yeah, right. They just started cutting their brother's hair or something, the neighborhood, everyone came to them. And regardless, I heard from Soy that besides Ken and the students, it's only he and I that are going down there now. So they don't really have that many people. So if anyone out there would like to come down there, you just need to be licensed. That's it. You don't need a barbering license. You don't need you need a cosmetology license or a barber's license. Right. Yeah. It doesn't have to be a barber's license. I do not have, a contractor's license does not work. A dive certification does not work. But if you're a licensed barber or cosmetologist, that's
so
all
it is just you two
right now. Yeah.
So maybe we could maybe on the show we could throw up like a link or something. Yeah. Or we could actually like have. We'll have to talk to St. Vincent about that though, as far as like what they're okay with being filmed, and also the
they have actually a fantastic. It's sort of new. They have a group of people who have started running their social media. They're I don't know.
Okay,
I'm going to just say they're all younger. Yeah, right? They're all young people. Like they walked in one day, and I'm like, and the girl had like a DSLR with like a little mic on it, and I was like, what's happening in here? Like I didn't realize, and so no, she'd be fine with it, I'm sure. Cool. And but besides that, they also do organized cut-a-thons where a lot of people will come out. They get more people for those, but for the regular like so-called barber shop, which is the cutting area at the facility, it's just us, that little small group. So I usually go down on Mondays. So if like a Monday a month, one time a month. So I usually do a post about it on social media. But then the cut-a-thons happen 4 times a year. And I don't want to say those are more fun. It's all fun to me. But if it can be a little maybe intimidating, you've never done it before. There's like strength in numbers. You go down to the cut-a-thon, there's going to be like, 10 of us cutting at the same time, 15, or something. There'll be a lot of people. I always bring my little Bluetooth speaker. I always got music going. So,
yeah, we should turn it into a party.
We will.
We should.
I have faith in you guys.
We could definitely do that. I've been wanting to get down there, and like I'm not proud of myself for how the effort that I've put in as far as making that happen.
You're fine. And that's the thing is like, you don't want, and this is what I always say about doing that is that, I go like once a month, right? Mm. When I first started, just like anything I do, I kind of like, oh my gosh, I want to do this 110%. I can go like every Monday. Oh, dang it, they're not open on Sundays. I started doing this. I was just going down to like a street corner, like in Phoenix, So that's how it all started for me. And then a friend of mine put me in touch with St. Vincent. That's how that developed. But, there's the idea of like getting burnt out. And I would say that, especially for younger artists, like, that's the thing that I would focus on, say, avoiding above anything is hitting burnout. They say that like if you graph over like a function of time, right, the amount of effort you're putting in. If the amount of effort is too low over a function of time, that's boredom. If the amount of effort is too much over a function of time, that's burnout. You want to look like your progression through the industry should look like a perfect 45-degree line over time, right? If that curve is like too flat, you're going to find something else to do. If it's too steep, it's like learning how to play like Jimmy Page on like the guitar. When you just like pick up a guitar, you're like, okay, I'm going to try this. It's like, no, you're not. Yeah.
But that happens all too often.
And I think social media is so detrimental, or I should say, it enables people to do that because in one swipe you can look at like however many images, right?
Right.
And you're looking, if you're following people who are good at the craft, you're say following like Stephen Moody, right? Someone who mentored me and was a pivotal part of like, just again, talking about someone to mimic, right? You just look at an image he's posted and then you swipe again, you see something like an image that maybe like, someone else has posted, like if it's like the varsity guys, right? Like Lucas and Clint, or like my friend Don who runs Hybrid Education, or anyone. Each one of those images goes by in a second, but you just saw like 30 years worth of practice to get that one picture, right? You saw like 20 years worth of practice to get that picture. You just saw another like 30 years go by, and you're like, I want to do all those things, and that's just hair cutting.
Right.
You're not going to live long enough. Maybe you will, but you'll be like 99 years old. And then you will have accumulated all that experience that it took you to swipe by in 1 second.
Right, that's true.
And so that idea of like, getting burnt out, it's and you'll be all. And then plus, if you're the type of person, unlike myself, I want to do color. I want to do this type of color. I want to do this. I want to be like Jay. I want to be like Stefanie. I want to be like, everyone. Like, no, you can't. It's not gonna happen.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're just gonna have to let that go. And you can like hyper focus your time and energy into something that is, again, that box, like what's attainable. Because if your reach is too far in every direction, that's burnout for sure.
Great advice that I need to.
Burnout for sure. I mean, you also overwhelming yourself, setting yourself up for failure. Really, What would your advice be to like somebody younger that is seeing all this, especially on social media? And we'll just touch on the social media subject a little bit,
right?
But somebody that's now, because when it was me and you coming up, you only saw certain things. That was it, and you had to zero in on that, and you had to become the best at that. And now it's so vast as far as like what the young artist can see, what everybody can see. You know what I mean? That it can. I catch a lot of people like feeling down about the fact that that all of this is happening, and everybody, and how social media is in all realms. It's like it's the best presentation of them at all times. So like this is what you're dealing with as a young artist that's trying to like come up in the game.
The deeply rooted psychological part is that like you're kind of looking at a bunch of like unattainable goals, right? And you're modeling subconsciously or maybe consciously around these things that you're seeing. It's unavoidable. Like this will happen. It's like a psychological thing. You keep exposing your. So did I just like flick water at you?
That's okay if you did.
No, I'm sorry.
Come on.
We're not back at Dirty Pretty again, right? This is not how this works.
He's dry.
That you will end up like planting those seeds, and you're going to get bummed out, for lack of a better way to put it. You're just going to start bumming yourself out.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to see that happening in your life. this is the issue. Now, okay, I am not anti-social media, by the way. It has grown our craft. Another analogy I like to use is like the tattoo industry. All this, back when you and I first started collecting in, the 90s, someone tattooing in the 90s, if you were going to see someone good, they were like an older guy or girl who's been tattooing since like the 70s, because that's how long it took you to get that good. Because the only way you got, you could get like Tattoo Time was Ed Hardy's magazine back in the day, or like Tattoo International. Like you had to get a physical magazine, and that's how you saw what other people were doing in the world. Now you want to see what like Horiyoshi 3 is doing, who's a master tattooist in Japan. You just go to his Instagram page. You can actually watch him do it in real time. Him do tabori on someone, and it's like, oh, okay. So someone who gets in the tattoo industry now, because they're exposed to all of that, they know what the level is, and they're also not getting held back in the same way because the information is not restricted. They get better. Like they're great in like 3 to 5 years, and I think it can be the same in our industry too, where that exposure to the craft can really elevate the standard. So
absolutely,
I'm not anti-social media. I know I've just been poo-pooing on social media.
None of us are, but we gotta,
But there's ups and downs to the whole situation. There's ups and downs to and using it to the best of your ability and really understanding. I think the background of it is important for everybody to know that it's exactly what you just said, that they're seeing 30 years of experience, 90 years of experience, and it's that quickly. So
and learning the right way to do something. Something that I really pay a lot of attention to is like ergonomics, body mechanics. I think that I've heard you speak about this as well, as the idea of taking care of your body.
Absolutely.
Jay and I are both, can I say your age? Is that okay? We are the same. We are the same age. We are both 42 years old, with a life's worth of, tossing ourselves. For me, it was like off of bicycles at high speed. Jay, like running into other people through, various sporting activities, or maybe after the bar or whatever. But, so we're carrying around a lot of stuff, and what we do is not going to help that unless you really pay attention to how you stand, postural correction, like all that sort of thing. In fact, I was talking to my friend Don, who runs Hybrid Education, and he and I, we think that a really good class to put together would be something that really just focuses on like your physiology, like what we do with our bodies. Like this is a physical activity, what we're doing. I would say hopefully you're not out there like breaking a sweat, but you may need to chill out a little bit. But other than that, what we do and how we stand is so important, and the longevity of that that's it. That's critical. If you don't have that, then, and if you're paying attention, like doing 5 different things, and you're not paying attention to that one thing and doing the one thing right, then you're going to have a problem, like, real soon.
Hey, so Stefanie.
Yes.
This is pretty incredible.
I know. I'm excited.
Obviously, we're in the infancy stages of what we're doing here, but building relationships with companies that we believe in is obviously key in what we're doing. And I would, if I had to choose, which I guess we kind of did, sheer company. Mizutani, we got some gifts from Mizutani, so thank you, Mizutani.
Woo.
Little something for myself, little something for Stefanie, and a little something for Ben.
Yeah, this is unexpected. Thank you.
Yeah. It's like Christmas.
I know.
Yeah. Doug gave me a pair of Mizutanis. Ben gave me the case for the Mizutani.
Yes, I did. Yes.
So that was my first experience with Mizutani, and obviously you don't know until you do.
Right.
But I had been using a lot of, and no disrespect to any other shears, but I had been using some that weren't necessarily to the level of what all of a sudden I was using.
Right.
So it's super cool to get involved with them, and I believe that Mizutani, in speaking with them a little bit and moving forward in our relationship, they have the same respect for the craft and what we do that we all share. So
absolutely,
huge thanks to them.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
I guess let's go ahead and open these.
So exciting! This is my first pair.
Oh, so I mean, I was using these. I was introduced to these by my friend Don, and I'd never used a pair before, and I haven't used anything
They've got
else
a little holster
since getting those from my friend Don. And
cool.
yeah, so these are fantastic.
Which ones did you guys pick?
Look at these.
Everyone got black ones.
They all just look like our personality.
Oh, I have those. Those are great. Those are fantastic.
Sweet.
So I love a longer shear. I have the ones that Doug gave me actually are quite a bit shorter. So being a color focused artist, I need one short pair and one long pair.
Yeah.
And I am very happy with, I use my long for like any type of scissor over comb that I'm doing, and any deep like weight removal.
Right.
So I'm really looking forward to using these babies. It's
me too.
This might actually be the most exciting part.
The comb?
This is actually, I had no idea that orange is the color, but the Sassoon cutting comb is one of the best cutting combs ever made. It was the archetype was made in green, so it's always been this like army green color. In fact, there's one in the other room sitting there.
Cool.
And now there's an orange one, I guess.
Hell
yeah, this is fantastic.
That's so awesome.
Great. Yeah.
So thank you, Mizutani. Thank you
so much.
We're getting ready to have Ben Koh actually work with the Mizutani Scissors, and he's going to give us a haircut.
Exciting things coming.
Somebody that we work with at the shop.
Yeah, one of our
Aubrey.
clients. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And really excited to see this. So let's do this, guys.
Yeah, stick with us. We'll be back with the real beauty bosses, and then we will have Ben Koh showing us his moves and doing a haircut right here.
Not kung fu.
No.
Maybe incorporate both.
A little high kick.
Awesome.
Welcome back, everybody, to Supreme Salon, Episode 2. I am here with Jordan and Katie from The Real Beauty Bosses. Welcome back, you guys.
What's going on?
Thank
you.
Happy to be back.
Yeah. So last time we kind of just got to know you guys a little bit, to learn what you're about. So we wanted to kind of dive deeper this week and get some actual tips, something we can use in the salon starting immediately. So what do you guys have for us?
What we got, Katie?
This week for our beauty marketing tip of the month, we have what we call our ABCD method, and that stands for attract, book, close, and duplicate. So that's that process that we want to repeat for every client every single time.
That's right. So basically what we've kind of done is we've worked with now hundreds of salon spa and beauty professionals, like multiple hundreds. It's been crazy how much has happened in a short amount of time.
I know, busy.
What we've tried to do is everyone who's trying to grow their business, they think it's really complicated, right? And so we've tried to kind of break it down into the 4 key things that are really the only things that you need to focus on to be able to grow your business. And like Katie said, that's attracting attention, attracting clients, booking those clients, closing those clients for higher ticket prices and services and products and things like that, then also duplicating your clients through referrals as well. So
for sure.
Basically, what we kind of have it broken down. I do have a little picture here of our framework because this is something that we talk about all the time.
Gotcha.
And it is like the framework for how to grow your business.
Right.
So attract is basically just getting that attention, getting that consistent flow of new clients coming into your chair and knowing the right ways to do that. We'll talk about that here in a second. Booking the clients is going to be like actually taking that attention, the attraction of people who are reaching out to you and actually saying, hey, let's get you on the books, right?
Get you on the calendar.
Right? Because I know a lot of salon spa and beauty professionals we talk to, they get a lot of attention. They get a lot of people reaching out in their DMs or on Facebook and stuff like that. They don't know how to actually convert a conversation into an appointment.
Exactly.
Right? So you have to know how to book that appointment because more appointments equal more money, and you need to get those appointments on the books. So the next thing, close higher ticket prices and services. That could be upsells, product, retail, figuring out how to take this person who has booked an appointment with you, who is in front of you, and knowing how to get the most out of that appointment, right? Provide the most value in exchange for the most money.
Yeah.
Exactly. Even if it's just rebooking that second appointment, even if it's just bringing them back in longer down the road, it's just getting that more cash flow out of that client.
Gotcha.
Because a lot of the time, like, some people in the industry, they'll get a lot of clients, they'll get a lot of appointments, but they're not making the money they want.
Yeah.
Right.
It's because they're not charging enough, right? Or they're not like taking advantage of that appointment and getting the most out of it.
Right. You're like, my books are full, which I thought when that happened, I'd be raking in the dough.
Right.
But now I don't have time for working more hours and the burnout we talked about earlier in the first segment. And then you're still not maximizing. And retail's a huge part of that.
Yeah.
and like you said, kind of maximizing and giving the value for it as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's usually like the first two are the most important, I think, like attracting and booking clients. But when you're at the stage when you're, maybe doing, this is probably the point where you're doing like 4,000, 5,000 a month. Maybe you're like really close to the 6-figure mark as a solo, or even a business owner.
Yeah.
And you need to figure out like, how do I take that the next step? Like how do I go to like doing consistently 6 figures or multiple 6 figures or keep growing and expanding? It's all in what you're closing your clients on that are in front of you.
Absolutely.
Right? Whether that be the price point, whether that be higher ticket, if you want to introduce memberships, if you want to introduce getting your clients on your products, so you get that extra $100 a month or whatever that may be, right?
Yeah.
It varies, right? And depends on the type of person, but that's kind of the third step, which is the close factor.
Okay.
Right? And then lastly is going to be duplicate, right? Taking those clients that you're attracting, you're booking the appointment, you're getting money from them, and figuring out how do I clone this person in front of me.
Yeah.
Right? And getting referrals out of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And really, it's not that difficult to do, but a lot of the time we just forget to do it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I'm sure you know that with being an owner.
Right.
You've been in the game for how long now?
17 years.
17 years,
Yeah.
right? So, like, all these things like, attract, book, close, duplicate, you're shaking your head because you know the things to focus on, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes, like, we get so caught up in the day-to-day of, being behind the chair and working with so many clients that we forget, like, what we need to do to take care of ourselves and our business and keep it growing, right? And referrals are one of the fastest, most important things you can focus on as far as growth.
And easiest, too.
Yeah, really. We had a girl, Joanna, who tripled her business in 1 month by just adding a simple referral program into her business. Like,
that was it.
Tripled her
Only
business.
change she made.
And it's
she paid
almost
us,
free. You just pay for referral cards,
Yeah.
and then your clients do the footwork for you.
Well, I mean, you gotta like know how to introduce it too, right?
Exactly. Yeah,
And
there's
so
a good script for that. I know that you guys have that we'll get into.
we do.
So,
Yes.
Yeah, super exciting.
But I do want to share, like, Joanna, she like paid us to learn a lot more about, how can I get more clients in the door? How can I run ads? How can I, raise my prices? All that stuff. And ultimately, to get her to her desired result, which was like, I think she was doing a steady 6 figures. She wanted to do, $300,000 a year.
Well, she had a lot bigger goals. She wanted to open up a bigger space. She wanted to bring people under her. She wanted to make a larger impact and be able to touch a lot of lives. And so through that, it couldn't just be her anymore. And she had to create a way to start bringing in a larger inflow of people. So literally the only thing she changed in her whole business, she thought she was going to run this awesome Facebook ad. She thought she was going to change all these things.
And she's still doing all those things.
Yeah, she is. But the one key starting point was just simply asking for the referral. And that's one thing a lot of people don't do. We hear so often like, oh, my clients aren't referring me anybody. My clients just aren't giving me any names. And it's like, well, did you ask? Well, no, they should just tell me. Like, no, they shouldn't. We have to ask. We have to ask in a certain way. And that's all Joanna did, and it tripled her business. Yeah. And that just goes to show how really key that duplicate part is.
Yeah. We like to say, like, these are almost like little levers, so if you pull them, you're going to make more money.
Yeah.
Pull the lever.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's jump in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Walk us through this ABCD situation.
Yeah, so this is kind of the overarching structure of what we call our butts and seat system, which really, in any business, local business at least, the only way you're going to make more money is if you get people in front of you.
Right.
And you get what we call butt in your seat,
yes,
right?
Yes.
A lot of people think, how they'll be able to grow their business and increase their income is going to be, how can I, offer new products and services? How can I, take on and learn new types of education and services that are going to help me do flashy new things? Or how can I become an educator so I can make a couple $100 a month doing that and stuff like that? But really, at the end of the day, if you want to make more money, if you want to grow your business, the easiest, fastest way to do that is just get in front of more people. Get more butts in your seats, right? So the ABCD framework that we come down to, the first thing's attract. So Katie, you want to kind of talk about what the attraction model looks like, what that entails, and why it's so important?
Absolutely. So with attraction, it's basically just getting eyeballs on you. It's just getting people to see your business, know who you are, know what you do. And it needs to be enough for them to raise their hand and say, I'm interested in your service. Can you tell me a little bit more?
Okay.
And that's really just the marketing piece. A lot of people kind of mistake the marketing piece for what actually brings them bookings, but it just gets it close enough to the hold where all you have to do is put it in. So what we have to do with attraction is that is what you're posting on social media. It is, running a Facebook or an Instagram advertisement. It's going to local networking events, posting in Facebook groups, all of those things, even posting on your personal Facebook profile, anything anything that you can do in order to get in front of a new person who doesn't know about you or your service yet. That's it. Just new eyeballs.
Yeah.
Really to get a conversation started is what you want to do.
Okay.
Like where the action like begins, and as far as growing your business, getting people to know who the heck you are, which is the biggest problem with stylists, salon owners, beauty professionals. How do I get more people to know about my business?
Right.
You got to get attention.
Yeah.
Right?
You have to build like a reputation in your community almost.
You got to have different attraction models, different things you're doing to just get yourself out there in front of the community so people know who you are. Right. So like Katie said, like the key things that we usually focus on is Facebook is usually our best platform that we focus on.
You guys have gotten me a lot more into Facebook.
Facebook is the biggest money-making social media platform as far as 100%. Booking appointments. Instagram is great to show off your work. Instagram is great to connect with other people like you.
Yes.
It's a great place to really just share your story, right? But what we like to kind of say Instagram is, which we may have hinted at on our last episode, which is it's kind of like window shopping. It's where people can kind of see, how authentic and real you are, and just kind of get a feel for what you got going on, right?
Yeah.
I more want to go check out your Instagram when I've already gotten some attention and attraction from you, and I'm just trying to make my decision whether I want to work with you or not.
Right. Because, some people do find things by searching hashtags, but I personally don't usually.
Yeah.
And in, the situation where I'm like, I know a lot of people, I need a plumber.
Right.
I do the whole Facebook post with the recommendation thing on it versus searching a hashtag. So.
Well, what we can talk about today is like you can attract and get client appointments on Instagram.
Absolutely.
You definitely can.
Yeah.
But I want to focus most on today definitely our Facebook attraction model, which we'll talk about Facebook, we'll talk about local networking, and we'll talk about a little bit of Instagram too. So when it comes to attraction on Facebook, the first thing you want to do is make sure your profile, both your personal profile and your business page are definitely like geared to impress and have a good first impression. So, like, if anyone comes across your profile when you're doing any of the things that we're about to talk about, you want to make sure that, when you're out there getting attention, when you're out there, like, starting conversations, getting in groups, messaging people and stuff like that, that they don't come to your profile and see a picture of a flower on your profile picture with, like, 2 photos of, like, nothing to do with
dog.
You. Yeah, your dog, your cat, whatever, right?
Exactly. You want it to be like blatantly obvious, like who you are, what you do. Like, I'm Stefanie Richards. I am the owner and a stylist at Ash Copper Salon. This is who I can help.
Clear-cut picture of yourself is the first thing.
Exactly. Photos of your work, like all that good stuff. Like, you want that on your personal profile. And a lot of people we find are very apprehensive about using their personal profile to get connections and get clients.
And
it's crazy.
Yeah.
So what we kind of share is like start with your personal profile and then do your business
Build
profile.
from there. Yes.
So a lot of people on their personal profile, they like to keep it private. They don't like to, they like to just stay in their own little zone with the friends they had from like high school. Right? Or whenever you first got on Facebook, you thought it was cool. You just added all your friends right?
Exactly. That just goes back to thinking about like, what is social media? Like, it's meant to be social, not to socialize with who you already know.
Yeah.
You already know them. You have their phone number. If you want to talk to them, text them, call them, whatever.
Right.
But we're here to get social, and we're here to find clients in a social manner. So we've got to expand beyond our own horizons with our profiles to make that happen.
Yeah, and make your personal and your business, more in tune with who you are, not with like, here's my business.
Yeah.
Like for you, it's not like you're going to just say, Ash Copper Salon, and put a block in front of your face. You'd rather say, like, I'm a part of Ash Copper Salon. This is what I do. This is who we help. If you're interested more, come check us out here. That's kind of what you want your profile to do, is confirm who you are and what you do, and why you do what you do, and also to convert that into what you want that attention to go to. So ultimately booking appointments, which we're going to talk about next.
Yeah, and I wanted to mention too, on your guys' online university, you walk us through how to set up the Facebook page.
From start to finish,
So it's a really good module. I watched it and immediately went in and redid my background photo and changed my profile picture, and I just like sent duplicates to my manager and was like, this is now your Facebook.
Everyone
and she
do
was
the same
like,
thing.
Put it up.
She was like pumped. She's like, heck yeah. So, if you are kind of not Facebook savvy, or, I thought I was, but it was stuff so obvious that I didn't think about. And I redid my profile in like 10 minutes. So I would recommend that module to go back. If you went through it and didn't change anything, go back and get in there and just do it, because I have noticed a difference. So.
Right. And like, a lot of the time, like, we know we should be doing these things, we just don't.
Yeah.
Right? But to break it down, like, the most important things when it comes to your profile, what I'd probably do right now, whoever's watching, is to make sure, first of all, your profile picture, like I said, clear-cut picture of you. You got a bio below your profile picture that says, maybe there's nothing there right now. You can use that bio.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So you want to have something there that says, like, I help busy moms get perfect blonde hair, or whatever the heck it is you do, right?
Yeah.
Have a little tagline or something like that. And then you can even, like, drop an emoji with, like, a link to your website, a booking page, something like that too.
Absolutely.
Doing those two things right there, we found get people bookings right off the bat.
Yeah.
Just because it shows who they are, and also it has a call to action.
Takes a couple minutes only. So.
And then the third thing is going to be to get that cover photo on point, where you can have maybe a picture of yourself, you doing your work, and then having your little headline there. And then you can even actually have a link on that cover photo where if you click on it, you can actually link to your booking page too, right?
That's the main thing that I changed. So
that's like kind of what we do with Facebook to get your profile ready. That's like the first step.
To attract.
Right. And then from there, obviously what we kind of share and talk about is going into Facebook groups, getting connected with your local community. It's very easy to find local Facebook groups in your area that are community oriented, they're community based, where you can get connected with other professionals and, you know, other business owners in your area, and you can build a little network that you normally would do just like you would if you went out and networked at like a BNI event or something like that.
It's like the Chamber of Commerce. Chamber of Commerce. Chamber of Commerce events, but it's more
online.
You can find groups that are actually even more specific, like Phoenix Women's Groups.
Exactly.
And stuff like that.
Exactly.
There's
really
a lot of mom groups.
There's wedding groups.
There's everything.
There's like, you can find like literally anything. And once you start to join enough groups in your area, Facebook will start to recommend better groups too.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like for example, we had one student, Jamie, who was a vegan.
Oh yeah,
and
I know Jamie.
That was like really key.
I feel like I know I don't know her, but I know her.
That was like key with all of her products. Is she used like a cruelty-free line. All their Facebook groups.
Yeah, I actually checked out her profile page because I knew she had already set hers up to kind of get an idea for mine. But she's really active in groups.
Absolutely. Yeah. She joined a vegan group because it really mimicked what she stands for in her salon, which is cruelty-free products and all of that type of stuff.
It's kind of her niche.
Exactly. And she got tons of engagement and eyeballs on her just from joining a vegan group that really matched who she was going for in clients.
That's a good idea. Our stuff is vegan too.
I'll give everyone, like, here's a little hack too. You're going to go join this Facebook group. Okay. And then the first post you're going to post to make it really simple and easy is just say, hey, let's get connected. Where are you located? What do you do for work? Or in Jamie's case, where are you located? How long have you been a vegan?
Right.
Something like that, right?
Yeah.
This is just going to allow you to introduce yourself into the group, and it's going to create an engagement-based post that people are going to comment on and introduce themselves to you, which you can then use all those comments on there to go respond to the people who engage on it. You can add them as friends. You can start to get connected with people, right?
Yeah.
So you want to have, through Facebook, like we just shared, like your profile ready. You want to be posting content just about every day, too, just in case someone checks you out. Right. But then you want to go and get yourself out there just like you would through word of mouth and stuff like that too, and just push yourself into Facebook groups where there's already thousands of people, and make posts like that or post on other people's stuff, and just get connected with people. And the one most important thing we'd also share too is you want to start adding friends on Facebook every single day.
Yes.
Because what's going to happen with the algorithms, the way Facebook works, it wants to connect people with people.
Yeah.
And the way it does that is it only does it if you're friends. Right.
And I took your advice on that one as well. But the thing that I really liked about that is once I started adding people every day, now I get the friend requests every day, so I don't have to go in, and I just click on them if they're women, and if they're in Phoenix, I accept them. Yep. They always typically will engage somehow. They'll message you, or they'll just say thanks for the ad or something, and now my Facebook's full of my target market, and they're all women, and they're all local, and even if they don't turn into clients, we're connected, for the future.
Absolutely.
And you never know.
Well, everyone's scared to do this, but like once you add someone as a friend on Facebook, like
they don't care.
Well, Facebook actually puts it into your inbox and says, say hi to your new friend, and it'll tell you to wave at them.
Right. They have to remind us to engage with the person after.
It's so weird. Like all this stuff that we're sharing right now, it's like so like simple. Yeah. And it's like, oh, I just need to go and get myself out there and start a conversation with someone.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like it's what like society has been like pulled away from.
Right.
They just want to look at things and, see what's going on, but not be too much a part of it.
Right.
And if they are a part of it, they, don't capitalize in actually building relationships with people anymore. It's
weird.
I
think a lot of it kind of goes back to like how we were even like raised on social media. Cause I remember like when I first started getting on there, I was scared to send like the friend request to the senior in high school who didn't really know me. Cause I felt like if I didn't know him that closely, I probably shouldn't friend request him on Facebook. Or I was scared to like the post of someone because I didn't know if they knew me that well or if that would come across weird or strange. And it's those same hesitancies that we even have in public with like talking to people.
Well, since we were raised, we were told what? Don't talk to strangers. Right? So, I mean, it's the polar opposite of what we should be doing.
Yeah, like, exactly.
Strangers are the people
now
who
that you're an adult, you can talk to strangers.
It's
That's right.
totally okay.
Talk to strangers, kids. But seriously, like, if you want to grow your business, you want to grow your clientele, you want to get more money in your bank account, that comes from other people.
Yeah. Right.
It comes from strangers.
It comes from people you don't know yet.
Yeah. And so, like, you have to be willing to get yourself out there. None of the stuff we just shared with you is going to work if you don't, like, actually go out and talk to strangers.
Right.
But that's ultimately what you need to do to grow your network.
Yeah.
Right. So once your page is set up to attract people and make it clear what you do, how you help, what is the process from there? Does it go on into like, tell us a little bit about the conversation, regardless of who starts it, like what you want to lead with. You don't want to go in throwing a sales pitch. Like, what would you suggest?
So just to reiterate what we just talked about, so like you want to start the conversation. It's better if you start conversations if yourself. You don't want to be waiting for other people to start the conversation, right? If it happens, that's great. Yeah. You can't control that, right?
Right.
So what I was talking about, we can do it on Facebook, you can do it on Instagram, you can do it through networking. It all applies to the same thing. All you want to do is just start that conversation with like, hey, this is who I am, this is what I do. Ask them a question. Where are you located? How long have you been doing this? Pull something from their profile that you saw, right? How we usually say you should introduce yourself, how that first like dialogue should go is just like, hey, what's going on? My name's Jordan. I saw you in the X group. Just want to personally reach out and say hi. How long have you been located here in Scottsdale, Arizona?
Yeah.
That's how I would open up the conversation.
So like regular human interaction.
Yeah. That's how you want to break the ice, right? So like, and it's all about breaking the ice, really. Yeah. Like the first way to start the conversation, just like if you went out and networked, went to a group of people, like what are you going to do? Just like go straight up to them and say like, hey, I'm a stylist. Come and get a cut and color for me. Like you give them a business card, like that's just weird. No one's ever going to call you off the business card. And a lot of people go and do that every single day.
Yeah.
Especially in this industry. They'll go out and like network, they'll go to these events and then they'll, throw their business cards at everyone expecting them to give them a call and they don't ever take the time to get to know people there.
The person, exactly. What I always say is literally if you are seeing every person you're talking to with a dollar sign on their head, you're not going to be successful. Like those dollar signs will come, but only if we make those genuine human connections first, and we can't be scared of that. Because that's how you get the long-term lifetime clients, because when they feel that connection with you, they're going to stick. They're going to feel like they're cheating if they go get their hair done by someone else.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you've got to stop viewing dollar signs on everyone.
Yeah.
Right. So attraction is basically what we just talked about. Whether it's on Facebook, you're going in the Facebook groups, you're, adding friends, you're posting content, you're just bringing people towards you and you're starting those conversations. That's the first step. And on Instagram, what you're going to do is like kind of what you just said, search popular local hashtags, do the same thing. Find out what people are, commenting, engaging, making profile posts on local hashtags that are popular. So like, I don't know what the ones here in Scottsdale are, but let's just say like, Scottsdale Living, hashtag Scottsdale Living. Go search that on Instagram, then see the people that are engaging and posting that, and then just start conversations with them. Follow them, start a conversation, hit in their DMs. Say, hey, what's going on? Just saw your profile photo. I loved it. Saw you post a picture over here. Like, how long you been in the area? Same type of thing, right? Networking event, same thing. Go up to people, say, hey, what's going on? What brought you to this event, right? Hey, what's going on? I just came here. This is my first event I've ever came to. Just came to this BNI event. I'm looking to connect with some business owners. What do you do?
Yeah.
Like, just start the conversation, right? But the next phase when it comes to booking the appointment is learning how to take that conversation that you just started, the way that you just broke the ice, and then just kind of move that closer to actually booking an appointment, right?
So let's talk about that.
Absolutely. So Katie, do you want to kind of share a little bit about what that looks like, how you take that intro, and lead it closer to an appointment?
Absolutely. So, I mean, for one, you're just trying to get to know them, and you're finding out about their life and what they do and what that looks like. And you really, through this conversation, you want to guide it to where you're finding out if they really have a problem you can solve.
Right.
You know, when's the last time you got your hair done?
Yep.
You know, are you experiencing any troubles with your current stylist? Things like that. Like, really find out if they are having a problem right now.
What do you do for work?
Exactly.
Is the best question, because like usually like in the beauty industry, where they work and what they do for work is completely centered around whether or not they'll be a good fit to work with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then once you do kind of find out, like, you know, what they do for work, whether or not they're a great client for you, whether or not they have a problem you can solve, you know, oh my God, yes, I haven't gotten my roots done in weeks. I can't believe it. It's so embarrassing. Like, do you think you could help me with this? Then what we want to do is we're not going to throw out price. We're not going to throw out like, yep, absolutely, I can do a root touch up for $65.
Come on in.
Yeah. It's not sexy. Like, they don't know you from Adam yet.
Yeah.
They know that you're a random person in their inbox. They know that you provide these services, but that's about all they know from you.
Right.
So it's far better to actually simply offer, absolutely, you know, I feel like I can help you with this problem. Why don't you come in for a complimentary consultation? We're going to take a look at that hair and see what we can do for you.
Yeah.
It's a far easier commitment for them.
Right.
To say, okay, I'm not committing to like paying this random person right off the bat.
Yeah.
I can go in, I can see their business, see if I even vibe with it.
Right.
And, you know, they're going to actually give me their professional opinion as to whether or not they can solve my problem.
And if they're ready, I've noticed offering the consultation, if they're ready to just like come in and do the service, they'll tell you. They'll be like, yeah, let's do the consultation. Do I have to make a separate appointment for the service, or can we do that too? And then, you know, like, yep, we'll do that day too. You book more time.
You try to keep it pretty vague, because at the first part, you don't even really, I mean, even if someone sends you a picture, this is what I want, like, this is what I'm trying to do, this is me now, like, you get kind of an idea, but you still, like, in order to really create value and really, like, understand and get to know that person and find out, you know, really what the situation is, it's better to just get them in the chair first, right? And not let like price be in the barrier of that way,
exactly,
right? Because for one, you're actually probably going to be able to make more money in the appointment if you run a consultative based business, but two, it's just an easier like way for someone to take that trust that you kind of build through those questions that you ask and just invite them to come and see what you do, how you can help them, and then present a solution when you're actually there.
Absolutely.
So like to answer like your ultimate question, which was like, you know, what do you do with these conversations? How do you move them to the appointment? Like, what do you say and things like that? There's no perfect script for it, to be completely honest with you. The way that we introduced this to our business is I just had hundreds of these conversations. I would just talk to people. And what I eventually found was I found like, you know, the questions that I could ask that led me to my desired result. And I would just, you know, figure out what those were. And now I basically have what is basically my script. Where like I'll talk to people, but I'll guide the conversation where I want it to go. And then I'll have enough rapport built for them that I can say, hey, well, you know, it sounds like blah, blah, blah. I'd love to see if we can set up a complimentary consultation, or, hey, if you ever are looking for someone to do your hair, I'd love to invite you in for that complimentary consultation if you're open to it.
And
Question mark.
It's low pressure, no pressure.
So that's kind of like what we would do to get the appointment booked. Now, obviously, if you're doing like an advertisement or something like that, it's going to be a little bit different. You know, when you are running an advertisement, you want to have a specific offer, someone's reaching out for a specific purpose, things like that. So really, at that point, your only goal should just be to get them on the phone to book the appointment. They kind of already know what they're wanting, right? But when it comes to turning an everyday conversation into an actual appointment, first of all, you have to just build a little rapport, you know, which is just asking questions. And that's all it comes down to. And then figuring out, you know, is this person a good fit for me? Is this person someone I'd want to have in my chair? Is this someone who would be interested in coming by at some point, right? Because it's all about just, you know, starting enough of those conversations, getting enough attention, getting enough awareness that you plant enough seeds that you have people who are coming in to the chair for enough consultations, which results in enough paid appointments to build your clientele. That's how it all comes to be.
Okay. So once we're through the booking process, the people that we do get to come in and that are interested in us, let's talk about a little bit of the closing. And we all know, you know, the great service and the experience, and it should be the same for every person every time. So at that point, what are we doing to close and then move into duplicate? Because I feel like the way you close kind of sets you up to duplicate, right?
Yes,
so
100%.
Basically, you want to have like almost like a productized conveyor belt process that is customized, but also very similar to the way you treat every client that comes in for that consultation. Does that make sense? So you want to have a process for the way that you understand where this person's at, what they're needing help with, where their situation is right now, and really understanding why they're in front of you, why they're here, what they're looking to accomplish, and what you can ultimately do for them, right? A lot of the time, like as most stylists, salon or beauty pros do, is they'll just kind of like say, here's my price, this is what I do, and they'll just expect someone to come in their chair and then they'll just do it.
Right.
And they don't really run a process where they'll get this person in, discover their needs, discover their wants, their desires, whatever the heck they want, what their problems are.
Right.
And then tailoring a solution that's going to be perfect for them, and then letting them know what the price point is after that. Right. Rather than just
present the value.
Right. Because you may find out like that this person, they may have sent you some pictures of what they wanted, but maybe they come in and like they've had a horrible history of seeing a bunch of colorists, or they've just whacked up their hair, and you take a look at it, you're like, holy crap, like this is going to take multiple visits. This is not a one and done deal. I'm going to have to see this person like 3 or 4 times before they can get like actually to where they want. Right. Yeah. And if you would have just said it's $100 or what, $200, $300, whatever it is at the beginning of that, you would have never really understood that information up front. And so the way that you close and have a very simple and duplicatable process to your consultation is just basically having someone come in, sit in your chair, and setting the expectation of what's going to happen there. Basically, setting the expectation would be like, okay, so Stefanie, what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to ask you a couple questions, and I'm going to figure out exactly what you're looking to accomplish so that we can build you the best plan and make sure you get exactly what you want at the end of it. Does that sound good? Do you mind if I ask you a couple questions real quick? And then we'll just go into it, and I'll basically say, like, so Stefanie, tell me a little bit about, why you came in today. That's usually where I'll start it, right? Yeah. I'll actually write this down. No, I guarantee. Do you guys do this right now? You should be doing this. Do you have do you write this down?
We have forms that they fill out, so then I'll sit with them.
That they fill out, or that you fill out?
They fill out their info, and it's basically signing the release.
Yeah.
And then I will take it and write down with them.
Perfect.
So what you want to do is really the effect here isn't to drill them with questions and write it down, but you're putting yourself in power by basically having this consultative approach where you're really listening. Mm-hmm. Like I'm saying, like, Stefanie, so tell me why you came in today. And you tell me, and I write this all down, right? I'd say, awesome. So when's the last time you had your hair done? Or done the way that you're looking to have today, right? And you're going to give me all this information that I can have throughout my whole appointment to really create a perfect experience for you based off the problems, based off your wants, based off, what you're ultimately looking to get. And also I can take this information to basically say, okay, so Stefanie, you told me you're here because blah, blah, blah. You've had problems with finding the right, stylist in the past, and you've tried a ton of different people, but no one's really gotten you what you wanted. Also, right now you're using Aussie hairspray and a bunch of product that's ruining your hair, which we found out today. So that's something you need help with. Plant that seed right then, right? And let them know exactly what you're going to be doing for them in that appointment.
Exactly.
And so, if you don't take the time to really do this, understand it, and actually write it down, you're not able to provide the most value you can for your clients, right? And so just doing that quick tweak and running a consultative-based approach to the business is going to allow you to, 1, set a better expectation, 2, be able to build more value in the appointment, and 3, being able to even lay yourself up for creating a tailored solution to this person's wants and needs, and they're going to trust you and be with you for a lifetime because no one's taken the time to do that.
Right, absolutely.
Right?
Exactly. Through this process, you can not only just pinpoint future services down the road, but one note that I think is very important is that we can actually foresee any issues the client may have experienced before. That way we don't make the same mistake. For example, they could have come in and said, oh yeah, my last stylist, she did horrible. My blonde hair turned yellow within 3 weeks.
Right.
And clearly that's because the shampoo you're using at home, honey. You lost your tone. And so, while the other stylist may have not dug in that deep to understand, this is why she's mad at me.
Yeah.
We can then take that turn and be like, okay, well, if we don't want our hair to turn yellow in 3 weeks, this is the product that we're going to need. We're going to need a blue shampoo, a purple shampoo.
Yeah. They're going to listen to you.
Right. Exactly. Because you found that problem first.
Right.
Before they left the salon, got pissy, got angry, angry about it and then turned and said it's your fault.
Yeah.
Right.
Like what you want is to have this client as putty in your hands so that you can, like, you're the artist.
Right.
You know what's best. You're the expert. They don't know anything.
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't know purple shampoo existed until my stylist was like, you need it, honey.
They're not hairstylists. They're not colorists. They haven't been to years of education and training.
Right.
They don't know what the hell they want.
Right.
They're just there because they know that they want to look better. They have a problem. Something's wrong and they want it to be fixed. Right. But if you can take that time to understand them, you know, really hear them out and take all these notes, you're going to be able to really put yourself almost in that, just like when you go to the doctor, that expert role where you're going to listen to everything that doctor's telling you.
Yeah, and then they trust you on your retail recommendations and on your recommendations like you need to come back in 4 weeks, all of that.
Yeah, and you can even like set the expectation like we said for product. Also, if it's going to take multiple visits for them, you can go ahead and let them know that.
Right. I write it out for them. I map it all out.
And then you go ahead and book those appointments. So basically you could have turned this $100, $200 appointment to thousands of dollars just by doing a consultation.
Right.
It's that simple. So that's how like the whole closing higher ticket and prices, services, things like that. That's how you get upsells. That's how you sell product. That's how you sell retail. That's how you up your price.
All through the consultation.
By in the consultation.
Okay.
That's it.
Awesome. So let's talk about the last part of it is duplicate. So once we have these clients that are our favorite clients, we want to clone them. I know my number one favorite client, and I always say, if I just had like 20 of her. And
life would be great.
And I tell her, I just tell her that, and she has sent me people. So let's talk a little bit about whatever your referral program is. It doesn't really, that part of it isn't, I think it's what a lot of people get hung up on, but figure out what works for you, what you can afford, what incentive you want to give. Once you get that hammered out, what's the dialogue? I think that's when people get awkward.
I think like people spend too much time trying to figure out the program, trying to figure out like,
should I give $10? Should I give $20? Should I do a percentage? Should I do this?
Should I give away
Pick
free
something
services?
And keep it simple, I say.
But at the end of the day too, you just have to be willing to ask.
Yeah.
Just like when you started this whole process, you started a conversation with this person, you have to be willing to, you know, ask for what you want, which is like, hey, like, Stefanie, like, it sounds like you had a great time today. Like, you know, we really got along. I'd love to find more clients like you. Who do you know that would also benefit from getting their hair done, fixed, colored?
Right. I know.
I'll just shut up and listen to them.
I know.
Right? And if they say, well, I don't know, like, I can't think of anyone right now. Well, if you did know Stefanie, who would it be?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll just, like, wait for them. They're going to give you a person as long as you, like, just ask the question.
Yeah.
And, like, most people are, like, too beat around the bushy, like, you know, oh, well, if you ever get a chance, like, tell your friends about me. That doesn't get anything done for you.
They're not going to tell their friends about you.
Right.
Just telling you right now, they're not.
Yeah. Like, the best things that we've heard and seen that we've been able to do for referrals is obviously get like a referral card system in place that, you know, you can offer value to that person for referring, and also the person they refer gets value from that little card or something like that.
Exactly.
You can hand those out, but before I let you go in, basically also what you want to do is like when you're getting referrals, like just go ahead and get the name and like the contact information like right then.
Right.
Because like you don't want to wait for them to like talk to this person, talk to their friend about you, and then hopefully that person like call you and then come in. Like that's a whole process you can't control. What you can control is getting like what's their best name and what's the best way to reach them.
Yeah.
And you write that down and you reach out to them. And you reach out to them repeatedly until they answer.
Yeah.
And then you just say, hey, what's going on? Stefanie referred me to you. This is Jordan. I work over here at the salon. She said you may be interested in maybe coming in for a complimentary consultation sometime. Yeah. Something like that, right? And if she says like, oh, I don't even know, like what? She said that? Say, hey, no worries. Well, I mean, you have hair, right? Exactly. Have you ever gotten it colored before? Oh, hey, why don't you come by sometime?
And I think it's easier too if your clients are tagging you on their Instagram, like, oh yeah, you may have seen Katie's picture that she posted the other day. She mentioned that you kind of were looking for something similar, or
exactly. Then they can see your work.
Yeah.
And I think a great commonality against a lot of the referral programs that we've seen work is that you're not just incentivizing the person who's referring or just the referee, you're incentivizing both people. Yeah. So I know that one that is common in our elite program, as well as one that's worked on me, is a 20 and 20, the 2021. So you come in, I'm going to give the person you referred $20 off their first appointment with us, and then you're going going to actually get $20 off your next appointment with us the next time you come back, so that not only are you keeping that person coming back, you're incentivizing the referral, and then once the referee actually gets that card, you know, they have like a tangible reason to come to you.
Right.
It's like, I'm going to get $20 off, so why not give this person a shot?
And also, like, what's important too is, like, when you do these programs, like, give people directions on how to give the referral, because most people don't know how.
Right.
Like, they think that, like, that means I have to convince Susie to call you and book an appointment. She has to, like, show up and blah blah blah. Like, what you can do is just say, like, give directions on the card, or give directions when you're asking for the referral or whatever, and just say, hey, well, just let, you know, Susie know I'm going to reach out to her, and as long as she, you know, books an appointment, then I'll give you the referral credit, right?
Yeah.
And just, like, give them instructions like, hey, connect us on Messenger, hey, connect us on Instagram, or hey, just have her text me, or just have her call the salon. Like, give the referring person, give them instructions, is what will help as well. But I think when it comes to duplicating, it's all about controlling your processes. Just like that consultation, there's some things you can do throughout the consultation too to set yourself up for getting those referrals. You know, like, you know, when you come down to, like, wanting them to tag you in their posts and stuff, get a before picture or video every single time they come in, make it part of your process, and get an after every single time. You know, you could even add into your process getting a picture or a video with you and your client at the end and saying, hey, I'm gonna you know, post this on my page, you should post on yours too, like, it's awesome photo, something like that. Like, create more opportunities for yourself for people to do that. Don't just expect and sit back and wait for things to happen to you, because, like, it's not going to grow. It's not going to allow you to grow. Period. So
cool. Well, thank you guys for coming back. That was, in a nutshell, the ABCD method. To dive deeper, of course, it's all on the online university.
Yes.
And we'll be having you guys back again to look at some other things that you guys are recommending for us to grow our business. Thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Happy to be here.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Myself, Jay Olsen, and Stefanie Richards.
Hello.
And our next guest today, Miss Julie Garcia. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. I'm excited.
And I understand that it is the lash trade that you are a samurai at.
Yeah, I mean, samurai is right. I'm, like, in there with those, like, needlepoint tweezers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you, how long have you been in Arizona?
My entire life.
Oh,
actually,
wow.
But, yeah.
Born and raised.
It's actually a discussion about Flagstaff. So I heard in the other room earlier they were calling them zonies. Are you okay with that? If you're being from Arizona, like, I'm also from Arizona, and I have strong feelings on this subject. But a zonie, are you okay with being called a zonie?
A zonie. Oh, that's actually, you know what? Honestly, I really never thought about it before, but I don't know. Doesn't that kind of seem like a negative connotation?
I don't like it. I just don't like the flow of it.
I don't know if I've heard that.
Phoenician, I'll take.
Phoenician, I've heard.
Zonie, no.
A Phoenician for sure.
Zonies.
I feel like zonie is for the stoners of Arizona. Like, that should be like a section.
Maybe zonie, like zoned out, like a stony zonie.
Yeah. Like, are you a zonie?
Yeah. Like,
I didn't know you got down like that. Yes,
actually,
I am.
Yeah, brah.
But I don't make that my definition, no.
Okay. All right, so forget about the zonie thing. But that's awesome. You're a native of Arizona. And you base your business out of?
Scottsdale, Arizona, the most livable city.
Voted most livable city?
No, it really is. That's the title of the city, the most livable city.
Oh, okay.
You should know that, probably.
I live there, and I don't know
That's
that.
what I'm saying.
It's on the sign when you drive in. It just says Scottsdale, the most livable city.
He doesn't leave Scottsdale, so he doesn't drive back in.
Oh.
So
It's easy to do, to get caught in the bubble of Scottsdale.
No, I don't know.
Damn.
Yeah,
I just make stuff up.
That's our
you're in the bubble of downtown.
That's our fucking slogan in
The
Scottsdale.
most livable city.
Livable.
I think it's pretty legit.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Definitely
I mean,
livable.
That's why they call it the bubble.
Yeah. I agree with that. I guess I'm living there, and it's exceptionally livable.
You're surviving.
They're not wrong.
And thriving.
Yeah.
In Scottsdale, Arizona.
Okay, so tell us about what you do, and you're in the Optima, right? Which is I think like a really cool building. It's a cool area. It's a cool spot. And you're working out of there. How does that all pull together? Because you live there too, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm so spoiled.
Don't tell people where she lives.
I know,
She's gonna have
but
stalkers.
it's kind of a part of me.
Look at her.
hello, welcome all stalkers. No, I don't. No, I do tend to attract a little crazy. Only because we're talking about Valentine's also today.
Right.
And lashes are like the ultimate fluttering Valentine's language, right? I love language without lashes.
Do you get super busy during Valentine's Day?
Yeah, honestly, it's a stretch from the holidays into and past Thanksgiving because no lady is complete without a Valentine's Day lash.
Right. And you've been doing lashes for quite a while, right?
15 years.
So before the
the wave,
yeah.
There's been a huge explosion over the past handful of years.
Yeah, there really has. Yeah. So I'm full of questions. I know, Jay, you probably are too.
I'm bursting at the seams as well.
But so I'm someone that's never had my lashes done, and I have like these reasons in my head. First of all, one salon I was at, we had an esthetician that did them, but her consultation was so terrifying that most people would then leave.
Oh my, I would like to hear more about that.
I don't know, she didn't actually want to do them, or...
Yeah, she was like, actually, I don't think this is for you. It's going to mess you up.
I was like,
it's going to damage everything about your life. I think you're better off.
Well, so basically, the myths out there, maybe you can clarify, but it was basically like, you're going to have to live a whole new lifestyle, and you can only sleep on your back, and you can't wear eye makeup remover, and you can't ever touch your eye, and you can't, and I'm like, what? Never mind. So I could see why people were hesitant, but I think some of that may be true. It depends on like what type of lashes you're doing. So let's clear up some of these rumors, I would say. So let's talk about
myths.
Let's talk about the aftercare. And as far as like what can you do, what are you restricted to?
I would start to say are all those myths true? I think that depending on the style and the technique that you're getting on your lash, some of those things are true, but only for the best you. Like, should you sleep on your back? I mean, yeah, it's better for wrinkles and all that, but no, I'm a side sleeper. I'm back to back. I'm over here.
I don't know when I'm moving because I'm asleep.
You do start to gravitate your life a little bit more to be a little bit more delicate on your lashes. It's still, in my opinion,
which isn't a bad thing anyway.
A luxury item.
Right.
Even though it's much more saturated and it's growing so much, like, it's still a luxury item. So people come back and they lay and they get these beautiful eyelashes that think about, I mean, you guys are both in hair extensions take a long time. You know, it could take hours. You're doing the same exact thing for eyelashes. So it's a luxury item. Some of the myths, I don't know, like some of the things that you talked about, having to only sleep on your back, like, well, if you want to preserve your lashes, then you might have to sleep geisha style, just like more paying attention.
Right.
Or try. Which isn't bad for everything around you.
You're not going to lose them all.
Right. But aftercare, becomes so simple. Once you just kind of incorporate it in, like I'm one of those people who have like 10 layers of my skincare regimen.
Yeah.
Where you put the serums, you put the vitamin C, you put this, you put that, and so once you've attuned to that, like for you, 10 levels isn't that much. It just happens really effortlessly. And for the person who just is, what do you call that? The aquafill or whatever only. I have a couple of clients I'm thinking about that. She's, and that's easy for her.
Right.
10 seems like so much, but when you're getting a luxury item, you're paying a lot for it. You want to take care of it. When you have a nice ass car, high-end luxury vehicle, I mean, are you taking it through the nicer car wash? Are you getting it hand washed? Or are you getting it, you running it through that $9 wash at the gas station?
Right.
So it's kind of like that. So you pick and choose what you want to pay more attention to. Some people are more like nails, hair, skin. Some people might value lashes a little bit more over those things.
Right.
Yeah.
And you
have beautiful lashes already, so I can't imagine you.
They go in phases.
You're telling me.
Your lashes go in phases.
Trying to tell my clients that.
Yes, I have like
story of my life.
I have like 1 week every 2 months that they're just like
baller.
I'm done. They're done.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest of the time they're okay.
Do you do extensions? Do you do eyelash extensions?
Have you had a lash? You honestly, your eye shape, I can't imagine you would need anything.
I have glued strips on.
Is that now?
As crazy as I've got.
Julie, are you anti gluing the strips on? Because I'll tell you one thing. We actually, I just went out to dinner last night. I'm not going to mention any names. My wife was there, and some close friends of ours were there. And this is what happened. And I don't know if there was maybe alcohol was in excess or not. I don't know. But one of those strips of lashes was falling down and hanging. And I didn't even notice. But her husband did, and he saw, and he was like, and then as soon as I noticed, I couldn't stop staring at it, and it kind of took on like a Clockwork Orange scenario. But I mean, going into that, like, I'm part of this.
Yes.
Do we want to do extensions individually, or do you want the strip, or how like, what's your technique? How does this all work? Take me through it.
Okay, well, I've been in the business for 15 years, so I have made it a point to stay up with the latest trends, everything that is new, everything that is latest, like with every technique that is possible. Like, I've made it a point to figure it out and find out about it. So there's so many techniques. So if somebody wants that lash strip look, yes, I have a technique that will allow that. But your first question, which was, am I anti-strip? No, I'm not, because some girls are allergic to eyelash extension glue, which is like, I can't even imagine. There's a funny meme I've seen on Instagram, and it said, quit complaining about your life. There's actually people out there that are allergic to eyelash extensions. And it's so true. It's like, oh my God, that would be the end of the world for me. And some of my clients
that had that happen to her. I totally forgot until
so for strips, there's a lash type for everybody, and it's such a beautiful thing and a beautiful art. And we're here for Valentine's Day, so we're thinking, a love language, and just something that, I don't know, let me ask you, as a gentleman, like, when you're seeing lashes, does your wife have lashes? Is that something that, you notice?
I definitely notice her lashes. She has beautiful eyes, so it's like it's
versus if she puts her mascara on or has it off.
Yeah. So when she throws the mascara on, that's when I know. That's when I know it's on. Is when she
and you know what? I feel like a lady feels the same way, right? She's in the bathroom like, I'll put this mascara on. It is on tonight.
Yeah. I can tell by that application how the night's gonna go and how it's gonna end.
Interesting. So lashes are important.
But absolutely. I mean, especially like to enhance the eye and to I guess from what I hear, because I deal with clients every day, and they talk about lashes, they talk about hair, they any type of like extension or situation that can improve or get them where they're trying to go as far as look wise. So obviously eyelashes are always brought up. So but it was interesting here because there isn't one scenario that's best for everybody, and that's what I think is great about you, is the fact that you take the individual first and kind of create something custom for them that would work best for them, right?
Everything is customized. I mean, everybody's eye shape is so slightly different. You have to customize your look for that person, just as hair. You want to make sure that not one hairstyle. I mean, I remember actually going into my hairstylist when I was like 18, and I just at that time wanted Afro puffs, and I just wanted this like curly Afro perm, and my hairstylist was like, there's no way that style is ever going to look good on you. Like, you have to perm your hair. Like, that won't ever look good on you. You're never going to have that hairstyle. And I was like, oh, God, dang, Yeah. But he did it good, and it looked good. It was a lot shorter than this. But lashes are the same way. There's just not one look. And I think that that's what you're seeing so much, or I guess have seen in the past, 2 years. The mega volume look has conquered, and everyone has this big, giant lash, but it's not really customized to their look. It's just like a one size fits all. Everybody just has this big giant lash, and they're walking around with this trend.
Right.
And I'm thinking that this 2020 and moving forward, we're actually going to see a lot more of that simmering down. We're going to see a lot more natural lash. I think lash lifts are taking over. People who have gorgeous lashes and want to go back to using this beautiful mascara or having a natural lash lift, or even the classic lashes, which I feel like will never die. I mean, I compare things to nails, which is, you have regular manicure, or you have the people who have the coffin nails or the long stiletto nails.
Right.
And while those may work for some people and they're gorgeous, we look at them, we're like, wow, that's not going to work for everybody.
Right.
And everybody is my client, not just, so I'd like to be able to customize on both sides, but it's not one look isn't gonna work for everybody.
What's your favorite that you're doing right now? Like what type of lash and what type of application process for you as the technician?
I love classic just because it is that very natural look. It's just an enhancement and a confidence builder to you. It's not like you're going to the extreme of something that isn't you, like these big giant lashes. So that's really what I love. But I'm also loving the volume lashes, which allow my clients that have been longing for a fuller look than what their natural lash can provide.
Yeah.
And it's a dream come true because you're like, oh my gosh, wow, I can have these fuller lashes than I've ever had before. And so some of my clients, like I said, I've been in business, 15 years, that have been with me 10 years, 12 years, 8 years. Now, there was this explosion in the lash industry of volume, Russian volume, mega volume, and so now there's so many opportunities of styles and techniques and products, it's just like a freaking plethora of lash stuff out there right now. So that's been really, really fun.
What are the lash extensions made out of typically?
Lash extensions are pretty much made out of like a polyurethane, like a nylon.
Okay.
So back in the day it was genuine mink, which they combed off the mink, which you don't really find that too much more. It's very expensive, but also, it's like, can you really regulate? You have to still like dye, perm, do that. So you don't really find that anymore. But basically it's like a nylon material.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
This is also interesting to me.
You're like, what?
What could somebody expect, like moving into, like, let's say Stefanie is somebody that's interested in getting into lashes, and let's just go through this. Like, she's gonna sit down.
Yeah, let's give me a consultation.
Yeah, can we go through a consultation, Julie?
Yeah.
Because obviously, like, it's always different, and like you got to go through like the upkeep and all, everything that happens with what she's about to get into. Let's just do it.
Yeah. So if I were to get lashes, I probably would want something borderline crazy, because if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it.
Right. Okay.
But I would also tell you maybe not the first time, so that I'm not like...
I feel like you're every client that comes in, like, I really want to do something, I want it to be noticeable. Yeah. But I want it to be natural.
Like, I want it to be crazy, but I need to do a normal set first. But I want it to look good.
Yeah. I want it to be noticeable, but I don't want anyone to notice.
I would want to get crazy, but I would want to do, like, more of a normal set first so I can ease in.
I would probably start you with just a nice, beautiful, classic look. I mean, obviously, we want to find out how you apply your mascara. Are you looking like, when you apply your mascara, more upward, like doll look? Are you outward, kind of like a cat eye?
It depends. If my eyelashes are like all in every direction, then I just point them all that way. But if they're being normal, then I go up. Today it was a that way kind of day. Mm-hmm. Of course, on podcast day.
You're going with the flow of your lashes.
Yeah.
You notice the flow of your lashes.
Yeah.
Most people don't notice that.
When they're like this, I'm not leaving the house.
So it's funny you should actually mention, because that is what happens when you have eyelash extensions. You're going to have the cycles and the days where they're growing out perfectly.
Right, because they're following your lashes.
Great. They're just growing out. If they're applied correctly, they're just attached to your own natural lash. They're going to grow out as your natural lash. So you might have those days where they're growing out perfectly like this. And sometimes you have those lashes that almost grow like in a wave, or like all of a sudden they start to like spread out.
Right.
Your extensions are going to do the same thing. So, I mean, for you, like, if I was going to say, hey, let's start off with a nice general classic look. The thing that I love about classic lashes is you can let them shed out with your natural lash. You don't have to come get them removed. You just let them grow out, and you just let them go. And they'll shed out. Your natural lashes will grow back in. Done. If they're applied correctly and nice and clean.
Right.
But, if you're talking, and then build on that. So there's the volume lashes, which now you're putting a lower diameter with multiple lashes, creating these fans.
Okay.
So if we did something like that, ease your way into it. So I like to do that for my clients too, versus just the initial giant lash. Because sometimes if people haven't had lashes before, it could be a shocker.
Take it easy.
They're like, I haven't seen myself like this before.
Right. How long would like a classic lash application take?
anywhere from 90 minutes to 2 hours, to kind of depending on your natural lash, how many lashes you have, how complicated they are. Are they super wavy?
Because I feel like the time has gotten a lot faster. And I don't know if that's just the girls that I knew were like training and took 9 hours, or like things have gotten better. I don't know.
Well, I'm kind of one of those people who feel that if you go and get, say, like a Jiffy box or a cupcake box, and it says it takes 45 to 50 minutes to bake, it takes that. Now, you could take it out at 45 if you like it a little more like undercooked spongy, or, you know, you could probably extend that out a couple more minutes if you like it a little bit more dry or more well done. And I feel like that's how lashes are. So some people, you know, claim to get a lot done in a lot less time, but I have so many corrections. I'm wondering, like, who can accomplish this amount of work? Like, I know how much time it takes and get it done precisely and customize the look versus loading them all on, because anybody can look good walking out of your place with lashes, because any lashes is better than no lashes. So you walk out, you're like, oh yeah, I look great. How are they growing out? In 2 and 3 weeks, are you coming back? Are they looking good? Are they shedding naturally? Are they all clumped together? Can your natural lashes grow out with that? You know, so those are the things I pay attention to.
Gotcha.
The longevity of the natural lash and protecting the integrity of your natural lash.
Right.
Yeah.
I love this.
He's like looking like, really? There's a lot that goes on the lash.
You may be converting me. I don't know.
It makes sense, though. So I think that just from the women that I talk to in my chair when I'm working, it's always kind of the same thing. Like, I might get lashes, I might not, but they always say the same thing, and that's like, but I don't want to go back every week, and I don't.
I hear that too.
You know what I mean? And
then I might say that I actually, on my website, it's a little outdated, but say, you know, that there's a big little asterisk sign down there that says eyelash extensions are not for everybody. You may not be a candidate for eyelash extensions. Are your eyelashes healthy? Like, what are you doing? And for the people who don't want to come back, well, guess what? It's very comparable to your nails. For the people who are like, oh, I don't like my nails, and I do have those clients who are like, I could let it go 5, 6, 7 weeks, and then I'll come back and get a new set. Like, they don't keep up with the maintenance. They'll just get it, let it wear down, which is comparable to nails. Some people get the nails, let them wear all down. They're totally bare for 2 and 3 more weeks. Then they'll go back and get it. So you got to be prepared for those clients. I'm sure you get that with the hair as well. You know, you're totally grown out. You're not representing me. Like, this is 5 weeks overdue. Like, you got shit popping out. Like,
your eyelashes and extensions are dangling.
I've seen it. I've literally seen the clients coming in. They're in need. But that's the beauty of this business, is being able to be the one who provides and saves these people. Because, you know, knowing ourselves, we all look good. We all have things done. And just being able to have that person take care of us, surrender for a minute, take a little 45, 50-minute nap in my case for the eyelashes. They wake up. They feel good. And they walk out of there, they're like, all right, you know, it's a healing moment. And lashes, from when I started 15 years ago, my sister was always trying to get me into things, makeup and this and that. And I'm like, oh, that's already taken. Like, I don't want to be a massage therapist. I don't want to be a makeup artist. Like, everybody's that. And I always thought I'd invent something or whatever. But then lashes came out and I'm like, all right, I'll do it. But it's a confidence builder, you know? It's just the minute that you get them, it's just like you feel better all over again.
Right.
And it's just it's interesting to me how something so minuscule can make such a tremendous impact on somebody's life. Like, wow, like, I feel good. Like, they're alive again. You know, how many people look in the mirror after they get up and they're like, oh, and I'm sure you guys get it too, like, because I do that with my hairstylist sometimes. I'm just loving it. Like, I'm all over again. Like, I'm okay. I can conquer life now.
Right.
So are you fueled by that? Is that the making them, the passion in what you do? Do you find that in helping them to feel better about themselves? Is that kind of what took you this direction? Because you've been at it for a while now. And
when my sister did it for me, she said, oh, there was this little booth at the International Aesthetic Show. You're going to love this. So my younger sister was getting married. My older sister, who has a successful business in Vegas, aesthetic spa and all that, she said, I'm going to do this. So she did 40 lash extensions on each eye, which was like, you know, the beginning And I'm like, I just looked in the mirror. I didn't even take care of them. You talked earlier about the aftercare, you know, no oil, no this, no that. And they were there, 40, and I thought, women are going to love this.
Yeah.
Like, if I love this, I have these small eyes. I always used to do this very deep Egyptian Cleopatra eyeliner just to pop, but then the lashes made everything so much better. You're like, oh.
Do you do your own lashes?
I wish I could. Sometimes I do my own bottoms, but no.
Because you can't, you have to have your eye closed, right?
Yeah, and the adhesive can get a little strong, so close eye, but I wish I could.
I know.
Do you have somebody that you work with, or like an apprentice? So
I have 3 small spaces in my studio, and I did just actually have a really good girl working with me, and then 2 girls that were doing like a bunch of body treatments and stuff. But they moved. They were more on the west side, which they are now, and they thought, oh, Scottsdale is going to be good. And their clientele is better over there, so they moved back. So now I'm actually looking for 2 new people for my the 2 units that I have. But yeah.
Would you take somebody on that maybe that could be like an apprentice? Like, would you take somebody under your wing to?
That. I'd actually love that
to groom them maybe for one of those spots.
All right, if you want to learn lashes, hit us up.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I know Trey. I'm sure Trey.
Yeah.
Is interested in it.
Yeah. Trey, one of our producers. He would love.
So where do you see the lash game going from here? I mean, it's evolved so much, and it's become such a cool thing, and grown so much over the past. I mean, and I'm not fully educated on lashes by any stretch of the imagination, but I've had a chance to watch it progress. So where do you see it going from here?
Well, I actually just came back from a training a couple months ago for gel lashes. So, gel nails, I'm sure, just generally speaking, about, you paint your nails, they're great. They'll chip off pretty soon. They're not going to last as long. You gel your nails. If you've ever had it done, it lasts so long. You're going to see that growth, but they're still going to be shining. They're going to be great. They're going to be sturdy. Wash your hands, do whatever you need to do. It'll still be there. So gel lashes it's patent pending in 17 different countries right now. I was in one of the top handful of trainings, but this is really, really cool. So basically, this is going to help the lashes be truly waterproof, oil-proof, sweat-proof.
Oh, that's true.
Helping them to last a lot longer and look a lot better. So that's kind of what's breaking right now. I mean, it's kind of hard to say because everything's becoming so saturated right now. There was just such a huge explosion over the past couple of years. So I started with trainings, and I was doing that, but then so much exploded.
These lash studios,
past couple of
lash
years,
bars where it's
everything.
20 girls pumping out lashes all day.
Yeah, I was like, I need to educate more. So I've really spent the past 2-3 years educating. Like, I put my trainings on hold just to go out there and make sure I know every last technique, every last new thing coming out, which is like the Jellies lash, and all the latest techniques. Yeah.
So with all the experience and education that you have, you're up for educating others.
Yeah, so I was doing that for a while. I was educating on brows, sleek brows, did a bunch of stuff like that. Then I spent 2 or 3 years just training for myself, just trying to educate, making sure that I'm at the top of what I'm doing. And so right now I'm in that expansive mode, trying to get some girls, to work protege underneath of me, and just kind of figure out, where is this going? Right now it's at the tip of a wave, so it's wide open. Everybody has the option to figure out to what extent they truly want to make it their niche or their focus.
Yeah, I've had girls completely stop doing hair because they wanted to just do lashes. So that's how powerful
or vice versa. I've trained girls before that did hair, and they thought lashes would be it, and I call them a month later after training, and they're like, actually, I just don't want to sit there for 2 hours doing this. I'd rather just do hair, whatever, and they let that go. So it really has to be for that person.
Yeah.
My upcoming thing is brows are like all the rage right now, and the brow lamination. I'm doing a lot of brow stuff. I went to Taiwan last year to do this lace brow training, and it was so awesome. Like I actually loved every single second of it, but I just want to practice that more, But I'm one of those people who like you need to practice. You need to do everything before you get on the actual skin. Yeah, we need to perfect it over here on the fake skin. Yeah,
right. It's like scarier than hair.
It really is. Brows,
eyeballs.
Like you can mess up lashes a little bit. You cannot mess up brows. Like brows are the one thing
gotta be on
you
fleek.
Cannot screw up on a person because.
So that was actually one of my next questions. Are you just doing lashes, or is there more that you do? Like tell us about everything outside of lashes that you do.
Well, I do everything lash. Anything you can think of lash, I definitely
lash
do.
Perm.
Brows, yeah.
Lash extension.
Brow extension, lash extension, lash perm, yeah.
How does that?
Like how we curl our eyelashes, it just lasts longer.
So
so you just curl it. It'll last like 5 weeks.
Okay.
It's basically hair perm for the lashes.
Okay, for if your real lashes, could you do a perm on your artificial lashes as well, or would you just get them like that?
If you were getting artificial lashes, which would be extensions, then no.
They're already kind of perm.
Well, there's so many different varieties of curls and lifts that you would create that in your artistry.
Right.
When you're mapping out and you're consulting and I'm looking at your eye and I'm going, okay, you have a slight downward slant or a more round eye. I'm thinking in my mind to what curl extension, and it's ever so slightly, or what diameter extension I'm going to use according to make that your desire. So I love it upwards like a doll, or I love my eye cat eye. I really want it elongated here. We talk about that, and then I say, okay, well, what diameter or what curl do I need to have out here or in here or in here to make that work? So it truly is
a lot that goes into this.
It really is.
Yeah, I'm starting to see the spectrum of it, but I mean it makes sense because it's like that with extensions for the hair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think the cool thing is being the artist that you are, creating something individual for the person. And I think, whether it's color or cutting or whatever, extensions, lashes, like whatever it is that you're doing, you're not, in my mind, you're not trying to make them somebody else.
No.
You're trying to make them the best version of what they are. Yeah. So I can really get down with that because, some people come in and of course they'll give you the pictures and you're like, like you don't
like
you don't
perm.
Yeah, you don't want this. This would be best for you, so
like that's just not going to work for you.
Yeah.
Cool.
Do you have that happen quite a bit? People come in with
unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. They're like, I really want, just make me as full as you can. And then you're like, 90 minutes later, you're like, I did my maximum. They're like,
you're like, I have to attach to what you have.
It's me too. Like my natural lashes are so dainty and delicate, and it's just one of those things that I'm like, I would. And then you look at other people, and you bring the picture in, and you're like, I wish I had this lash, and it's like, you don't have those lashes,
right?
Like that's not your eye shape. Like you don't even have that eye.
Yeah. It seems to be that's the battle with anybody in the beauty industry is like trying to.
It really is. I'm sure with the hair too, right? You guys get that a lot.
Oh yeah, trying to maintain what can be done and what also works best for them.
What the good Lord gave you.
Right. But I mean that's how I am with makeup, lashes, hair in general. Like it's about enhancing rather than, because why wouldn't you want to just look like the best version of yourself rather than look like somebody put a mask on you.
Right.
That's just what I think.
And so I feel like for 2020 trends, I feel like a lot is being shed for 2019, and these big giant one-size-fits-all lashes are simmering down. Mm-hmm. We can see. Maybe we can reconvene in the next several months. Yeah. But I think that a more natural look is coming. Like it's going to be, even if it's a natural extension, mascara look, just a very clean, natural look. I think that things are simmering down from the super strobed, contoured look. I think that everything is going to be like people are going to embrace their much more natural look, much more clean look, but it'll still have the elegance. So it'll be nice.
I hope so, because there's some people out there right now looking like fucking brat dolls.
Oh my gosh, I had the craziest dream the other night. It was so weird. I was doing lashes, and there was like, you know how like if you were to pull this carpet up, like you might see like all the threading, I guess you would call it. Like I was doing lashes, and it looked like this long carpet on the lash of the client, and I looked up and I go, oh my God, how am I going to get all these lashes off? Like, this is too much. I went too far. And then I get up and they go to leave, and it turns into a different client, and all of a sudden it was like there was no extensions on there at all. I was like, talk about the stress of overworking. I was like, I just spent 3 hours on this lash, and it looks like you have nothing at all.
And you're actually tired from the dream that you just had.
Yeah, and I wake up like, oh God, here we go again.
And you're late for work.
I love it. I actually am so blessed to have the most gorgeous, beautiful, amazing clientele I feel like anyone could ever have.
Yes.
Like, I have everybody in my area. A lot of them know each other. Like, I'm 100% word of mouth to this day, you know,
wow,
and I'm still thriving. So that's
something in this
huge for
era.
me.
I mean, word of mouth is that's like the original.
Powerful.
Yeah, and I feel like still with everything that comes in between social media and everything else, obviously there's a lot of marketing tools, but it's still hands down, I feel like the most powerful.
It's the most trustable source too. And people know that.
It's the most trustable, and I'm so blessed, and I feel that. But I feel like I didn't get to see the segment before, but I feel like that is so important for that couple that came on, because I'm 100% word of mouth to this point, but there is something so powerful in marketing. And I feel kind of funny, like, oh, I've been in business 15 years and I'm just now thinking and coming on and going, okay, it's time for me to fully market or create a presence or create this social media presence, which, you know, I'm a little older, so it's coming into. It's not like it's innate, which, you know, the younger generation is just like, oh, how could you live without it, you know? So I'm coming on to all that.
We got to get you on there, sis.
Yeah, we're doing it.
And I'm definitely going to come in and see you. Okay. And before we say goodbye, let everybody know how they can come and see you if they're local, if they want to get their lashes done, or some of the girls we talked about, maybe you bringing in some apprentices in the future. How do people find you?
Well, you can go to my website, designerlashes.com, or you can find me on Instagram, which is designerlashes with the number 1 at the end. And
easy enough. Designerlashes.com. Perfect. All right. Well, we'd love to have you on the show again in the future for sure.
Yes, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
I think we should do like an application on the show. And let me just tell you, like, I think this is super cool for me, because you're right in the area that we're in, and now I feel like I'm versed in the situation. At least I'm able to refer somebody people. because I have a lot of people that aren't happy with their lashes, that are interested in lashes, and now I'm able to send them directly to you. So that's amazing. Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much, Julie,
thanks for having me. You guys
Anytime, lady.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so
we're back.
Welcome back. Yeah, we're
Ben Koh back with us.
We really came strong right there.
So how'd your haircut go?
You know, really good. Aubrey is someone that Jay and I see in the salon. She is a regular client. So that's something actually, you know, I wanted to talk about. Initially, we were going to bring someone with us who we use kind of as a model, who is a client in a way. I've been cutting her hair for years now. And I always do something like off the wall, like just really pushing the envelope of kind of suitability, balance, proportion, technical application. You know, in a way, it's like, you know, hair cutting for hairdressers. You know, in the Sassoon world, we talk about it like, you know, that's collection level, where like you're doing something so technical that you're just using it almost as an educational tool, but the practical application, the suitability and the balance really pushes that envelope. And, you know, when Aubrey came with us down here today, you know, Aubrey is I don't want to say but she's a regular client.
Right.
Like this is a regular full price paying client that had an appointment booked that we were like, hey, you want to just come with us and get your hair done? And Jay did her color prior to our visit here, which looks beautiful, by the way.
It does.
Thank you.
And so Aubrey's been growing her hair out from when she shaved her head.
Oh, okay.
That's the story. She shaved her head. She had it bleached by somebody, not Jay, and it was not so great. And that's subjective, but also objective in a certain sense. And we've all been growing our hair out. So
let's bring her in.
Yeah,
here she is.
Here she is. Okay, here she is. So we're really just reworking the line, and you can see we reestablished the graduation in the back, and just kind of had it set up. Yeah, there we go. See, it's live, right? And so we're really just getting that length to grow in, and you guys will see, in the podcast, what we did in the video.
Got some footage of everything that went on.
It's to me, there's an application of doing something that is appropriate and functional and efficient.
Right.
Sometimes haircutting and, especially for social media purposes, it's, and even when Jay and I, we were in cosmetology schools, some of these videos, you're like, wow, that's a lot of sections. It's a lot of pre-section. All this stuff is happening. You're like, oh yeah, that's how we do it. Right? There's 50 pre-section little triangles and rectangles and all this stuff. It's like, why? Yeah. I pre-section nothing. Mm-hmm. Literally nothing. Mm-hmm. And there's no quadrants, there's nothing. It's the most efficient approach to get to the best result. Right. And so when you watch how we cut our hair, it was just very straightforward. So
I'm looking forward to it.
It's a great haircut. It looks awesome.
Good color.
And the color yes, awesome. Yeah, because there was some color adjustment that needed to happen from when we initially met Aubrey. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I
like yours.
Yeah,
Jay has a makeover that we haven't addressed.
So I'm the next haircut that I'm growing it out right now, and then Ben will cut my hair.
Ben can cut my hair.
We're actually going to do the same hair as Aubrey.
You look beautiful.
Thank you.
More beautiful, I should say.
Especially with my lashes.
Oh, with the lashes. Thanks, Aubrey.
Aubrey, thank you so much. Yeah. It looks incredible. We appreciate it.
We'll see you in a few weeks. Right. Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
So I woke up this morning. I was like, you know what? I wanted to, obviously, I had my own personal questions that I wanted to ask Ben.
Right.
And then I was like, well, what? I was trying to think, what would other people want to know? You know what I mean? So
you've got some rapid fire questions, right?
Well, I do have some rapid fire questions. Okay. But I think and we'll get to those. Even more importantly, though, I posted.
Oh, you got some questions from people.
I posted and we got some questions.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So.
Direct from the source.
Okay.
The source is Instagram.
And you have not seen these yet, right?
I saw that things had been posted and then I just closed it, so no.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, so I'm listening for sure. That's right. Yes. Where did you get your lashes done? No, I'm kidding. That's not a comment.
No.
So, let's see. Oh, I think I saw this gentleman at yoga today.
Probably.
Today?
Mary
Did you go today?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Every day?
Yeah.
Are you a yoga every damn day?
Yes.
I'm a yoga every once a month. But I'm working on it.
Yeah.
But we go to the same yoga studio. I never see him because
I practice.
You never see him because you're never there.
I practice at 3 studios. So I'm all over the place.
It's partially him. Okay.
Yeah.
Next question.
Okay, so shout out to the let's see who she. It looks like Belle, Mary Kay. Anyway, so hello. At yoga. Next time, come up and say hi.
Yes. Say hi.
I probably won't.
Yeah. You can talk to him.
Yeah.
So we'll go through these real quick, but okay. So Lauren Lifka, what is your best advice for a new stylist that isn't typical work hard or follow the rules? Interesting.
So he has to pick one of those?
Okay, I would say my best advice would be to work hard and follow the rules.
Dude, I knew you were going to say that. I knew he was going to say this.
To pick one?
Okay, but
what's more important?
No. Let me throw in a however. And this is something, again, talking about one of my mentors, David Goodwin at Sassoon, Scottsdale. When you understand the rules, is when you can break them.
I've heard that. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
You know, and
when you know why you're breaking.
Right. It's not just the how, it's the why. Right. It's that's the philosophical difference. So yes, that's the answer. Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
And hey, obviously nobody's going to get anywhere without not working hard. I think we can all agree on that.
Right.
As much as it sucks.
Unless you are literally the Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart of haircutting.
True.
They suck.
Yeah, you just drop in and play the harpsichord at the age of 7.
Or the saxophone.
The saxophone. By the way, again, saxophone donations, Instagram, direct message for Aubrey, who was just here.
We'll get it to her.
That is our saxophone player.
We got to get out the saxophone.
Yeah. Saxophone.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Oh shit. So Karen Kung Fu Hair.
Oh, another fellow Kung Fu artist.
We know this person.
Okay.
Yeah, we know Karen.
What is your favorite color formula that will turn a client's hair green?
Oh, that's easy. You take a previous bleach and tone that's grown out for several months and you throw on a 5-stroke 0 right on top of it and it turns green. By the way, this is why
that happened to you?
Oh yes. Okay. This is something I did to an actual person, thinking
We've all been there. Right.
Well, no, actually, I don't think. Hopefully, no one's been there other than me. This happened actually towards the tail end of my Sassoon apprenticeship. So I've been doing hair licensed for close to 2 years at that point. And I thought that a so-called color correction would be to take the desired outcome and just slap it on a bleach and tone.
Yeah.
That's why I don't do color.
Gotcha. That one time.
I was convinced to do this person's color because she was my test out model for my final test at Sassoon. She was my long layered model for my test out. And she's like, well, yeah, can you just like color it back to my natural color? I'm like, yeah, duh.
In my sleep.
You just buy 3 tubes of the color that you want and you just throw it on there. So
squirt it on.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I think I combed it through. Yeah. Like all of that. So yeah, her roots were the right color. And then oh, by the way, I do everything with like 20 volume, which is why not? Because I don't know the difference. And so so the roots were kind of close, and then everything from here to about there was I don't know. Have you ever been to like when you go like camping or hiking and you see like a stream, but there's like an area where the water doesn't move that well and there's like algae growing? Yeah, it's like that color.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
The actual color of gravy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, like gravy with like a sprinkling of like parsley on top. Yeah.
Hey, that obviously ended up well.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's something awesome. We actually got a question from the curator of Hairbrained, or one of the curators of Hairbrained, Gerard.
Oh, hey. Cool.
Yeah, my dude Gerard, dude Gerard.
What's up, Gerard?
Yeah, so
we like Gerard.
Question from Gerard: has your perception of the industry changed since leaving Sassoon?
Okay, so yes. The answer is yes, but the answer has less to do with leaving Sassoon and has more to do with a function of time. So it's been, we're coming up on 3 years now. I say you and I, right? So that was like first week of April, right? Or last week of March, give or take?
It was last week of March.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Right. Because I remember when I was in Nepal, that was the whole thing. So that was so we're coming up on the 3-year mark. And yes, the industry has changed, but it has more to do with a function of time as opposed to like leaving Sassoon.
Right.
I'm not going to say it's like for the better or for the worse. However, I would hope that at some point, like we were talking about before with the idea of like the VHS tapes and the photocopied paper and the handwriting of the manual and all of those things, those are the people who are crushing the game. Those are the people who are doing it like really, really, really well. Like I'm going to just throw out some names. So like say Stephen Moody, right? Lucas, Clinton, DJ Muldoon, Ira, right? Our friend Ira, right? Don, hybrid education, my friend Dana, my friend, Mark, who I worked with. I trained with Dana, I worked with Mark. It's not about Sassoon, it's more about a function of time. These are all individuals that came through the industry when it was kind of done more the old school way, because there's no cheat for it, unfortunately. Right. So, so here's the thing. I was talking with my friend and a client of mine, Rochelle, and, a fantastic human being. And she was asking me about what are you doing this weekend? I was I'm doing this podcast. So she started asking me about it. First of all, she said, don't drink. Okay, I've done that several times. She's like, don't drink, don't lick your lips, no juicy mouth. She actually said, no juicy mouth. She's like, I hate it when I listen to podcasts and it's just like juicy mouth all over the place. Yeah. So
noted.
Well, the great part about it, it's a video podcast, so she
Rochelle,
can see the juicy mouth
watch.
too.
It's happening right now.
Yeah. Juiciest mouth I've seen today.
Okay. So
I am insulted by that, Jay.
There's more than just two of us in the room. And something she reiterated to me, and also my girlfriend Jenny, and as you guys both know, it's like I come at this so objectively with, it's objective technique, it's objective this, it's objective that, but the thing that's missing with a lot of younger artists, and the thing we talked about before, is the whole scrolling through Instagram, right? And they don't know what happened before this exact point in the timeline. So, I had this interest. So I was cutting my friend's hair in my front yard. My friend Don and I, who were nightclub DJs at the time, and, he comes back from the Sassoon training. That's how all this got started. He was my inspiration, by the way, my friend Don. He's the reason why I'm here today, really. And, seeing him do what he learned at the Sassoon Academy was like, okay, that's what I want to do. So, I bought the books.
Right.
I want to do the thing. I want to mimic all the people, like the cover band idea. Like, I'm just going to mimic all the people, except there's something that wasn't working. And so, did we say this is the camera right here?
That's your cam.
So hopefully we can see this. But I don't know if you can see that little gap between my little. It's not little. Like, we could literally pass. I don't know. Like,
he has a thigh gap.
If someone has it's like a thigh gap, like
and
between my fingers.
I don't.
Right. So there's that. Like that's huge.
And we don't all.
And I'm pushing my fingers together as hard as I can right now. Like that's it. Like my hand is like trembling. Like that's it. Like see, like, I'm maxing out. Right. So I got like this huge gap. I can see you through there.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm trying to do it like they do in the videos, where everyone's like this and everyone's like this, and I'm holding sections, and like from here to here everything is like pretty good, and then from here to here it's like that's it. I got nothing. And I remember very specifically with David Goodwin from the Scottsdale Salon, I cut my very first haircut in my apprenticeship, and I held this section out, and I just went through everything that I'd been taught. I went through the entire head diagram, and he went to come check it, and it was like this. I mean, it looked like a dog had been like chewing at these sections, because it was just like all over the place. And I did it with like, actual like cutting horizontal to the head shape, cutting horizontal to my sections. I just couldn't control tension. So, this whole time, I was like, how do I do this? Like, it doesn't make sense. And I actually thought, I was like, I'm going to have to not do this, because this doesn't work. I thought like, this isn't for other people. This isn't for me. Now, the reason why I bring this up is not so much that like, I figured out a way to do it. By the way, if anyone has this happening, right? So if this is happening to you, you can easily solve this problem by putting your fingers this way and taking your sections that way, so you get nice even tension, no gap between your fingers right there. Okay.
Ooh, problem solved.
Okay, so and if you ever watch me cut, like I cut like this. So this is how I take every section is like that, so I don't have any gap in between.
Well, there's probably people out there already copying you and they don't know why.
And you know what? That's
So
great,
now
because even if you do have a gap between
why.
your fingers, like it's actually a little bit more accurate to get a flatter plane and not have your knuckles in the way, because knuckles make like inconsistent tension front and back here. So my point is this, and I'm not saying that I'm like I'm so good at cutting hair, but my point is this: anyone can cut hair well. Anyone can do it. Like, I am not the Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart of haircutting. I was extremely limited in the beginning. It took me multiple years to figure out why like things weren't coming out right. The only thing that you have to understand is that you have to just kind of know what it should look like.
Right.
And then you need to figure out your own path to get it there. Right? So this is not like, okay, I just, wow, I'm so good at this or so on and so forth, because I'm not. Like, I have this limitation every day. And a lot of times I don't cut past my second knuckle, which is like, old school like cosmetology. Yeah, never cut past your second knuckle.
What they teach
never cut past your
and
second
all
knuckle.
Of us are like, yeah, right.
Right, because it takes too much time.
Yeah.
Right? But anyone can do this. If you apply the time, and so to the first question, if you apply the time, there are no shortcuts. You just have to practice, and that's it. There's no cheat. There's no cheat. I mean, that's it. There's no cheat. So you have to do it the right way. And that's it. So anyway, thank you, Rochelle.
Over and over again.
Yeah.
Just a couple times.
Yeah.
Every day should be your practice session.
Yeah.
But that's what's great. I mean, we get to actually make money while we're practicing and getting better. And the cool part is our guests, clients, whatever, friends get to see that. They get to be a part of that. As far as you getting better and better and better. And it's funny, you said this to me too. I was like, okay, well, you want to get better all the time, like more education. But you actually said you simply get a little bit better all the time by just doing it again and again and again and again.
I am a huge fan of actual hands-on education versus, say, like watching someone do it on YouTube or Instagram. Because you can watch someone do it over and over and over like 5 million times, and until you actually get your hands in there, you don't really understand what's going on with, say, like if it's haircutting dynamics, right? Where you stand, how you hold, where you're, inside the fingers, outside the fingers, all that kind of stuff. But you can actually be your own best teacher, as long as you hold yourself accountable.
Yep.
That's the thing. That's the critical thing. Like, you don't have to rely on anyone else.
Right.
Yeah.
As long as you know who you're looking up to. For me, Tracy Sakositz, Mark Hayes, even colorists, like Richie, who's the color director for Sassoon, and, Nathan, who's a color director at Scottsdale, Tara, who is a color director, like, anyone who excels at their craft, Tobias, who's the manager, but I still refer if I go out of town, I refer clients to Tobias.
Yeah.
Because just like as far as like hands down, like just nuts and bolts technical hair cutter, like right, that's like, these are the people. So it doesn't have to be some like lofty name that everyone knows, but like as long as you know what it should look like and you know where the bar sits, that's all you need. And you can almost be your own best educator. Now, some people, they're looking for the shortcut. That's where, a third party coming in can really be so useful, is that you see someone doing it a different way and you're like, okay, and then how do I do that? And you get your hands in there, you're like, oh, wow, this is hard. That's the aha moment.
Yeah.
Is that, oh, it's not easy. There's no cheat. This is how it has to be done. And that's the thing. So it's more of a perception thing than it is even technical, I think.
Yeah. Agreed. That's good.
Well
That's good
said.
shit, man. Well said. Well said. So I feel like I have to ask these, even though like we're on like a serious tip right now. But like I have
shift
these.
the mood.
Yeah.
You have to say the first thing that pops in your brain.
Okay,
though.
so I don't know anything about this.
These are rapid fires that Jay has prepared.
So
do we have enough time?
Yeah, they're just
They're
real
rapid.
quick.
Okay, go.
Okay, so you have a couple seconds to answer each question. We'll just handle
like 2
it
seconds.
Yeah, 2
Okay.
seconds, 1 second, like whatever. I want you to be comfortable, but also uncomfortable at the same time.
Oh, okay.
I like that space.
Okay, so it's basically
space.
it's choices as far as like and you just select one
Multiple
right off the
choice
bat.
questions.
Yeah. Okay, favorite cereal.
Oh, like cereal that we would consume as food, not like cereal television show.
Or serial killers.
Just cereal.
I would say that boxed cereal would be an old school brand of cereal called O's. O-H apostrophe S exclamation point.
Yeah.
Crunchy as shit, will cut your gums up. Love that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
hard to find, actually.
Yeah, very hard to find, actually.
Somebody send some O's with that
O's.
saxophone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Food City
fill
has
the
them.
saxophone with O's.
Fill
Yeah.
it with O's.
Yeah.
Send it.
Okay, good. We're already past the 2 seconds. Samsung or iPhone?
iPhone.
Saved by the Bell or 90210?
Saved by the Bell.
What are you reading right now?
Rereading The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer.
Ooh. Slides or flip-flops?
Oof. I mean, really, I guess slides, but they're really Birkenstocks.
Okay.
Those are slides.
Yeah. Those are slides. Dukes of Hazzard or Smokey and the Bandit?
Dukes of Hazzard. Easy.
He knew that one.
I would slide across that hood.
Yeah. The doors were welded shut. That's why they had to do that. They had to jump in the... Yeah, because that was a race
Fun
car.
facts with Ben Koh.
The General Lee was a race car. The doors were welded shut. That's why. That's why they never opened the doors.
If you were a Street Fighter character, who would you be?
Ryu.
That's the fastest one he knew.
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't plan that.
Ryu, I can beat the whole game with Ryu. No one else I can do that
Agreed.
with. That's it.
Agreed. Yeah. Okay, so if you had to choose, this is a what-if question, I guess. If you had to choose, each time that you order food for takeout, you have one voice. Okay, so every time you order food, whether it's through the phone or whether it's drive-through, whatever it is, you have to choose one voice. You can either sing it, your order, in Eddie Vedder's voice,
Okay.
or you could order it with Bobcat Goldthwait.
Eddie Vedder.
That's what we all three said.
Well, it's because it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, and does anyone know how to do the other voice?
Are we talking Eddie Vedder, Scott Weiland? I don't want to say he was...
you have to sing your order into it, which would...
I'd go more for like the Scott Weiland, but which is a variant of Eddie Vedder. So yeah.
Do you want to do a little for us?
No.
But that's a great question. Do you have any? I've known you for a long time. I've never seen you do an impression.
Huh?
Do you have any
an
impressions?
impression of Jay?
Of my lash?
I don't have that. Wow, that's an interesting point that you bring up.
Yeah.
Do I ever impersonate anyone? No, I don't think. No, I don't know if I do.
Do you have any impressions?
Yeah, I have a lot.
Really?
I don't know that I'm going to do them.
Yeah. Well, what's like your top impression other than Eddie Vedder and Bob?
I have shadow puppets.
Marge Simpson.
Like that's what I can do with I can do shadow puppets with my hands. That's about it. That's like my secret talent is like the shadow puppet, and really it's just a rabbit. I can do one. I can do one really impressive rabbit.
It's a lost art.
And that's it.
That is a lost art.
Yeah.
Do you ever prank call anyone?
Also a lost art.
No.
I do it every day. Every day?
No, but in the 90s, I was a huge fan of the Jerky Boys tapes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
I could go a full day listening to the Jerky Boys and then probably the Adam Sandler for a stand-up cassette tape.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Which at this point, if I hear it, makes me feel weird. But yeah.
Why?
Those because it's so like fucking like out of control. You know what I mean? It's like so I turned on the television the other day. I was like, oh shit, Billy Madison's on, and I turned it right on when he was in the bathtub doing the shampoo conditioner thing. And I was like, I used to fucking love this shit. And I consider myself still pretty much an idiot as far as humor goes. Like just fart noises and all types of shit like that. But like for some reason the shampoo and conditioner element of that movie, I was just like, wow.
Now, do you like look at that as a precursor to the Zohan movie?
The Zohan movie was pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's about as iconic as like a Sassoon cutting video to me.
Shit. All right. Hey guys, we're getting texts. We got to wrap it up.
We have one last question though.
Yeah. What is it?
Are you coming back?
Oh, anytime.
That's
Perfect.
settled?
Yeah. We got plenty more to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, dude, man, thank you so much. Thank you so much for this. Thanks for being a part of this.
Thank you. This is awesome.
Thanks, Aubrey. We got a saxophone coming for you, obviously.
Saxophone. Someone send us a saxophone, please.
I have the faith. I think we're going to get one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have faith, too. I mean, the show's building power at a rapid rate, and if we see a saxophone, that's when we know it just got real.
If you send the saxophone, I'm going to speak for Aubrey right now that she will play us a Kenny G song in here.
And We actually,
you know what? If she's not willing to do it, I'll do it.
Okay.
I will learn how to play the
if
saxophone.
there's multiple saxophones that are sent, we're going to all learn to play the sax, and we're going to have a band, and it's going to be called Attack of the Sax or Sax Attack.
Although Kenny G did play he played like a baritone clarinet or something like that, like something obscure. But I will play a Kenny G song on the saxophone.
Okay.
Just to be clear, I know that there might be some technical
for all the wind instrument people.
Yeah, like who are like,
oh fuck
Kenny
this
G
guy.
did not play the saxophone.
Hold on 1 second.
Get your facts.
Yeah.
Next podcast.
I am aware of this.
All right, man. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
And we're out.
Coming.